Oh, the millwood? Millweed? Milkweed. Milkweed. This is new. Yeah, it is. That's new.
Okay, everyone, we're about to get started. If we can find our seats, silence our cell phones, as I'm doing. Close the back and side doors. I greatly appreciate it. If we're going to continue to talk, if we can take that conversation outside in the lobby, we have a long agenda to get through. Okay, good evening, everyone. We are on the record. Today is Wednesday, the 22nd day of April in the year 2026. This is a regular meeting of the Jersey City Municipal Council. We had a scheduled 6 p.m. start. The clock on my cell phone is showing 6:04 p.m. May we have a roll call for the commencement of this meeting. Councilperson Brooks.
Present.
Councilperson Zupa.
Present.
Councilperson Efros.
Present.
Councilperson Little. Not here yet. Councilperson Gilmore.
Not here.
Not here yet. Thank you. Councilperson Singh.
I'm right here.
Councilperson Griffin.
Here.
Councilperson Lavaro. And Council President Ridley.
Here.
We have 7 council members in attendance at 6:04 p.m. Can we kindly rise for a moment of silence, please?
Tony Loftus.
Carol Ellerman Fair.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible. Thank you very much. On behalf of Council President Ridley and the members of the Municipal Council, in accordance with New Jersey Public Laws of 1975, Chapter 231, the Open Public Meetings Act, also known as the Sunshine Law, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the posting on the bulletin board of the first floor of City Hall. The annual notice, which is the schedule of meetings and caucuses of the Municipal Council for the calendar year 2026, and filed in the office of the City Clerk on Tuesday, November 25th, 2025. In addition, at its time of its preparation, the agenda of this meeting was similarly disseminated on Friday, April 17th, 2026 at 7:50 p.m. to the mayor, municipal council, business administrator, corporation council, and the local newspapers, and posted on the city's website, so I can certify as to our total compliance with the Sunshine Law. Council members, as discussed at the caucus meeting, we're going to be adding 3 items to the agenda, and that would be items 10.49, 10.50, and 10.51. The items are as follows. Item 10.49, Resolution 26-238 is a resolution appointing Matama Singh as a member of the Jersey City Immigrant Affairs Commission. Item 10.50, Resolution 26-239 is a resolution appointing Matama Singh to the Women's Advisory Board of the City of Jersey City. And last but not least, 10.51, Resolution 26-240, a resolution authorizing the granting of a permit, Liberty National Golf Club, for fireworks display on May 4th, 2026. Council members, may I have a motion to add items 10.49, 50, and 51 to the agenda?
Motion.
Motion made by Councilperson Lavaro. May I have a second?
Second.
second by Councilperson Efros. On the motion to add the items to the agenda, Councilperson Brooks,
Aye.
Councilperson Zupa,
Aye.
Councilperson Efros.
Aye.
Councilperson Singh,
Aye.
Councilperson Griffin,
Aye.
Councilperson Lavaro,
Aye.
and Council President Ridley.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0 with council members Little and Gilmore absent. On to our first reading ordinances. You allow me to read them into the record. Item 3.1, City Ordinance 26-024 is an ordinance amending Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic of the Jersey City Municipal Code to rescind regulations regarding vehicle and pedestrian traffic at Society Hill at the request of Society Hill at Joyous Point Condominium Association Incorporation. Item 3.2, City Ordinance 26-025 is an ordinance ratifying the renewal of a lease agreement with Rialto Capital Urban Renewal LLC for the use of space at the Lesser's Building located at 4 Beacon Way, Jersey City, extending the same through April 30th, 2031. Item 3.3, City Ordinance 26-023 is an ordinance repealing and replacing Chapter 188, Housing Accommodations and Affordable Housing Compliance, Article 2, Affordable Housing, and repealing and replacing Chapter 160, Fees and Charges, Section R, Chapter 188, Housing Accommodations and Affordable Housing Compliance to reformat and organize the codified text. And last but not least, item 3.4, City Ordinance 26-026 is an ordinance authorizing the extension of an amendment of deed easement with 14 Lawrence Street Corp., permitting the developer to make improvements on a portion of 12th Street, public right-of-way in an area east of Provost Street, and continuing to an adjacent area to the north side of Newport Parkway in connection with the construction of the new public pedestrian walkway. Council members, I'm going to be taking a vote on introduction for items 3.1 through 3.4. Councilperson Brooks.
Aye for introduction.
Councilperson Zupa.
Aye for introduction.
Councilperson Efros.
Aye for introduction.
Councilperson Singh.
Aye for introduction.
Councilperson Griffin.
Aye.
Councilperson Lavaro.
Just before I cast my vote, I didn't realize this during caucus, but item number 3.2, ordinance 26-025, it's a contract that's retroactive to 2022. Right, so I would just like, not today, but an explanation as to why the contract had been neglected for so long. If somebody could explain then who's responsible to hold whoever's responsible around that, and get an inventory of any other contracts that might be out of compliance or have expired as well. I vote aye on all.
And Council President Ridley.
Aye for introduction.
Items 3.1 through 3.4 are introduced 7-0 with council members Little and Gilmore absent. Before we move on to our second reading ordinances, I believe it's the council's intention to defer to 2 items on the agenda. I believe they're items 10.10 and 10.11. 10.10, City Resolution 26-199 is a resolution to honor and congratulate Mr. Itmayaz A. Syed on being named Jersey City Senior of the Year. So again, you'll have time to clap when they hopefully approve those resolutions. So we'll do that again. And also item 10.11, City Resolution 26-200 is a resolution recognizing and designating the swamp milkweed as native plant year for 2026. Council members, may I have a motion to defer to items 10.10 and 10.11?
Motion.
Second,
Motion made by Council President Ridley, seconded by Councilperson Lavaro. On the motion to defer to items 10.10 and 11, Councilperson Brooks.
Aye.
Councilperson Zupa.
Aye.
Councilperson Efros.
Aye.
Councilperson
Thank-
Singh.
Aye.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
We're
We
just
still have to
deferring.
vote. Too early?
Deferring.
Too early, too early. See, the clap started it. Now we're thinking we're voting on it. No, it's just the motion to defer. Councilperson Griffin,
Aye.
Councilperson Lavaro,
Aye.
and Council President Ridley.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0 with council members Little and Gilmore absent to defer to items 10.10 and 11. So before we do that, I will mark, can we not shout out, please? I will mark Councilperson Gilmore present at 6:14 PM. So we now have 8 council members present at 6:14. So with that being said, council members, we'll go in the order. We'll start with 10.10 for the Senior of the Year.
I'll read it into the record, Sean.
Thank you, Council President.
Resolution to honor and congratulate Mr. Imtiaz A. Syed on being named Jersey City Senior of the Year. Whereas Mr. Syed is a distinguished executive, civic leader, and public servant whose career spans more than 4 decades of exemplary leadership across economic development, international relations, real estate, and government services in the United States, the United Kingdom, and South Asia. He currently serves as a board member of the Immigration Affairs Commission in Jersey City, where he continues to advocate for and support one of the most diverse communities in the nation, representing over 37 ethnic groups. As the founding chairman, he was instrumental in establishing the commission as a vital municipal body, expanding access to immigration resources, and strengthening engagement between immigrant communities and government agencies. In the private sector, Mr. Syed serves as CEO of Alpine Medical Associates. His prior roles include senior project manager at the Jersey City Economic Development Corp., where he contributed to major development initiatives through strategic planning and funding allocation, and vice president of Central New Jersey Realty Corporation. Mr. Syed's international leadership includes his service as managing director of the Ministry of Tourism, Sports, and Youth Affairs under the Pakistan Tourism Development Corporation. In this role, he led tourism initiatives across Pakistan, India, and Nepal, increased organizational revenue by 80%, and oversaw the redevelopment of the internationally recognized Malam Jabba Ski Resort. He also served as the chairman and CEO of Pakistan Hotels Incorporated, directing national and international hospitality operations. A pioneer in business, Mr. Syed founded PAC-AM Travel Service, one of Jersey City's first successful international travel agencies. His dedication to public service is further reflected in his role as commissioner of the Jersey City Board of Education, appointed by the governor of New Jersey, and as chairman of the Jersey City Redevelopment Authority, where he contributed to major urban initiatives, including the transformation of the Jersey City waterfront. Beyond his professional accomplishments, Mr. Syed is deeply committed to community service. He has organized numerous initiatives supporting underserved populations, including food, coat, and blanket drives, assisted individuals in accessing healthcare services, and led a voter registration campaign that significantly increased civic participation within underserved communities. Mr. Syed holds a master's degree in history and constitutional studies and a bachelor's degree in English and political science from Punjab University. He also pursued studies in international relations at University College London. He also holds professional credentials in real estate and insurance, fluent in English, Urdu, Hindi, Punjabi, and Sharaki. Mr. Syed brings a global perspective and cultural understanding to his work. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the office of the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City and its council members do hereby honor and congratulate Mr. Syed on his lifelong commitment to leadership, service, and community advancement as he continues to leave a lasting and meaningful impact on Jersey City and beyond.
Don't clap again. No clapping yet. All right, council members, with that being said, would we like to take a vote on Resolution 26-199? Before we do that, I just want to recognize Councilperson Little present at 6:15 PM. So we now have all 9 council members present. With that being said, Councilperson Brooks,
Congratulations. I vote aye.
Councilperson Zupa,
Going to vote aye. I just want to say to Imtiaz and the family, congratulations. This is as close to my own family getting an award as it can go. I know you never stop thinking of Amir, but he's looking down on you with pride and joy, and the fact that you've dedicated your life to service of this city, to the county, and to your country is this is the least we can do. And congratulations to you.
Councilperson Efros.
Congratulations. And in a moment where immigration justice is so critically important, it's great to celebrate someone who's given so much of their time and energy toward fighting for our immigrant communities here. So vote aye. Thank you.
Councilperson Little,
Vote aye. Congratulations and thank you for all you do for Jersey City.
Councilperson Gilmore,
Aye. Congratulations. Thank you for everything.
Councilperson Singh,
I vote aye and congratulations and thank you for giving me always positive energy and inspiring me whenever I needed help from the community, especially your community. You were there. So thank you so much for being there.
Councilperson Griffin,
Congratulations, Mr. Saeed. Thank you for all your service, and I vote aye.
Councilperson Lavaro,
Imtiaz, congratulations. You are a legend within the community, and so many generations stand on your shoulders, and the work that you've done throughout your lifetime. To you and your family, to everyone, thank you for all you do to contribute to Jersey City. I proudly and happily vote aye.
and Council President Ridley.
Mr. Imtiaz, thank you so much for all of your contributions through the years to the city of Jersey City. We are delighted to recognize you as our Senior of the Year, and congratulations. I vote aye.
City Resolution 26-199 is approved unanimously 9-0. Congratulations. Not that we want to put you on the spot, but if you do want to say a few words, I know the council will not mind that.
Yes, Mr. Syed, if you'd like to say a few words, please step up.
Imtiaz, want to say a few words?
Right by the mic,
microphone.
on the mic.
Wants to use my mic. Remember, he ran for council at large.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Well, the Honorable Mayor, who was supposed to be here, I was told, but then he had to leave somewhere. All the city council members and the officials and all the friends in the community. I would like to thank the county executive, Craig Guy, and our mayor, James Solomon, for nominating me for this from 300,000 people of Jersey City residents for this coveted recognition. I'm happy especially that it's a credit to my motherland, because Pakistan, I learned how to be a decent citizen, which I practice here in my adopted country. This will open the door for many youngsters to earn such honors if they never cross the straight line, which I learned in my grade 1. Once again, I'd like to thank all my friends, colleagues, and city officials for bestowing this honor to me. Thank you.
And Mr. Syed, the council will come down and take a photo with you.
So the council is going to come down and take a photo with you. Don't anyone go anywhere.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Yes, God bless. Thank you. Thank you. That is not that. Oh, thank you very much. We have room for you.
Oh, hold on, they still take, wait, what we doing?
right.
Oh. Oh, he's trying, the young fella trying to get it.
Oh. Real quick. Real quick.
Yeah.
That's something that happened. Yeah.
Right.
We go back long time.
That's right.
Thank you. Wanted to. Politics.
Okay.
Good one, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. We still have more business to conduct, so if we can get the council back on the dais, I greatly appreciate it. All right, our next resolution that we defer to is item 10.11, City Resolution 26-200, which is a resolution recognizing and designating the swamp milkweed as native plant year of 2026.
Councilwoman Little will read it into the record.
Thank you.
Okay, can we have everyone take their seats
Can we take
or
the
move
seats
to the
and
back of the room?
But they are taking pictures.
Really?
Sean,
Don't make me do it again.
Again, Bill.
Don't make me do it again.
Bill, if it
Happened.
Sean will do it again today.
All right, guys, last picture, and then you're gonna have to move the pictures in the back of the room. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Councilperson Little, it's all yours.
Happy Earth Day, everyone.
Earth Day.
This resolution is recognizing and designating swamp milkweed as native plant of the year for 2026. I want to thank the Hudson County chapter of the Native Plant Society of New Jersey, as well as Wild Ones New Jersey Gateway for their work on this. Whereas New Jersey, including Jersey City, is home to more than 1,500 native plant species, including shrubs, large shade trees, wildflowers, grasses, and perennials. And whereas the City of Jersey City adopted Ordinance 24-015 in 2024 to promote the preservation of native communities while recognizing that pollination is an essential ecological function dependent on native plants and the pollinators that rely on them. And whereas swamp milkweed, Asclepias incarnata, also known as rose milkweed, rose milkflower, and swamp silkweed, is a herbaceous perennial plant species native to New Jersey and is among the showiest milkweed species, featuring large pink flowers that attract a wide variety of pollinators and closely co-evolved insects. And whereas swamp milkweed is gaining significant recognition as a premier native plant and is often selected as a plant of the year by environmental organizations to promote pollinator conservation. And whereas milkweed flowers provide high energy nectar that fuels adult monarch butterflies through their long migrations to and from overwintering sites in Mexico and California. And whereas the monarch butterfly has a specialized life-dependent relationship with milkweed plants, as female monarchs lay their eggs exclusively on milkweed, which serves as the sole food source for their caterpillars. And whereas without milkweed, monarch larvae cannot survive or complete their metamorphosis into butterflies, making milkweed a critical host plant for their survival and reproduction. And whereas milkweed has naturally occurring toxic compounds that are absorbed by monarch caterpillars and kept into adulthood, providing protection from predators. And whereas monarch butterfly populations have declined by more than 90% since the 1980s due to habitat loss, pesticide use, and climate change. And whereas the loss of milkweed and other nectar plants remains a primary factor contributing to the monarch butterfly's continued risk of extinction. And whereas each fall millions of monarchs arrive in Mexico at the end of their migration. Monarchs have long served as a cultural symbol for indigenous communities in Mexico, connecting the living to the dead. They are also a cornerstone of the Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, November 1st and 2nd celebrations that remember loved ones who have passed. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Jersey City that swamp milkweed, Asclepias incarnata, is hereby named as the native plant of the year for 2026. And the City Council recognizes milkweed as a vital plant for the survival of the monarch butterfly. And the city is encouraged to promote and highlight swamp milkweed as the native plant of the year across official communications and social media platforms.
Okay, with that being said, council members, may we take a vote on Resolution 26-200? Councilperson Brooks,
Aye.
Councilperson Zupa,
Aye.
Councilperson Efros,
Happy Earth Day. Aye.
Councilperson Little,
Aye, happy Earth Day.
Councilperson Gilmore, Councilperson Singh,
Happy Earth Day, everybody. I'm wearing green to celebrate Earth, and I vote aye.
Councilperson Griffin,
Aye.
Councilperson Lavarro,
Aye.
and Council President Ridley.
Aye.
City Resolution 26-200 is approved unanimously, 9-0.
Councilperson Little, is there someone here who?
Yes, I would like to invite the activists that were involved in this. If you would like to say a few words, you are welcome, and we can take some pictures.
Good evening, Council.
Just identify yourself for the record.
Carol
please.
McNichol,
Thank you.
Wild Ones, New Jersey Gateway. I'm going to read this. Thank you for naming swamp milkweed as the first native plant of the year. First time. You got a long way to go. Many plants. This is a meaningful choice and one that reflects our shared commitment to protecting and restoring our natural environment. Swamp milkweed was chosen because it plays a vital role in supporting pollinators, especially the monarch butterfly. As the only host plant for monarch caterpillars, it provides the food they need to grow and survive. Its fragrant pink blossoms throughout the growing season offer nectar to bees, butterflies, and many other beneficial insects. Beyond its beauty, swamp milkweed is resilient and adaptable. It thrives in rain gardens, helps manage stormwater, and contributes to healthier ecosystems. By highlighting this plant, we are encouraging gardeners, homeowners, communities to make choices that support biodiversity and strengthen native habitats. Today's recognition is about more than a single plant. It is about celebrating the power of native plants to restore the balance, sustain wildlife, and connect us more deeply to the landscapes we call home. And lastly, I'd like to thank Councilwoman Little and her aide Grace for their work and support in making this happen. Happy Earth Day. Thank you.
Carol, do you want a picture? Do you want to be presented with the,
No.
do you want to keep this?
Too much.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Sean.
While they're giving out that resolution, we'll go on to our second reading ordinances. First, second reading ordinance is item 4.1, City Ordinance 26-019, is an ordinance approving an easement agreement by and between the City of Jersey City and AR SciTech LLC for the benefit of the public for pedestrian access and passage over and across portions of property known as 189 Phillip Street, Jersey City, New Jersey, Block 21504, Lot 4.04. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please come up to the podium and state your name for the record.
Motion.
Wait. Oh, okay. Motion made by Councilperson Gilmore. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilperson Zupa. To close the public hearing on City Ordinance 26-019, Councilperson Brooks.
Aye.
Councilperson Zupa.
Aye.
Councilperson Efros.
Aye.
Councilperson Little.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson Singh.
Aye.
Councilperson Griffin.
Aye.
And Councilperson Labarro.
Aye.
And Council President Ridley.
Aye.
Motion to close City Ordinance 26-019 carries 9-0. For final consideration and adoption of City Ordinance 26-019, Councilperson Brooks.
Aye.
Councilperson Zupa.
Aye.
Councilperson Efros.
Aye.
Councilperson Little.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson Singh.
Aye.
Councilperson Griffin.
Aye.
Councilperson Lavarro.
Aye.
And Council President Ridley.
Aye.
City Ordinance 26-019 is adopted unanimously 9-0. On to our next second reading ordinance, item 4.2, City Ordinance 26-020 is a franchise ordinance granting permission to 412 Liberty Avenue LLC by its managing member, Nakesh Shah, allowing the installation of stairs that extend into the right-of-way beyond the boundary lines of Lot 51, Block 2601, and are for the benefit of Lot 51, Block 2601, commonly known as 412 Liberty Avenue, Jersey City, New Jersey. It's the public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please come up to the podium and state your name for the record. But hold on, before you do that, I got to get the camera and the timer ready. And if you could just spell your name for the record.
Sure. My name is Aileen Brennan, AILEEN I'm with the law firm of Prime, Tuvell, and Maselli. We represent the applicant, potential franchisee, 412 Liberty Avenue LLC. With me is our architect, Mr. Avar Patel. I just wanted to thank the council for its consideration and just reiterate that we are looking to renovate the stairs to this residence just to make them code compliant. It will require that the stairs go a little further into the public right of way than they currently are. However, there are a variety of issues with these stairs that make them not compliant with the code, which Mr. Patel can speak to if anyone has questions about those. We did provide a memo to Councilman Etros, I believe. But we just wanted to thank the council for their consideration and let you know that we're here if there are any questions about this specific application. Thank you.
Motion.
Nope. This is still a public hearing on City Ordinance 26-020. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please come up to the podium and state your name for the record.
Motion.
Motion made by Councilperson Gilmore to
Second.
close the public hearing on City Ordinance 26-020. May I have a second?
Second.
Say that again.
Second.
Made by Councilperson Griffin. On the motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 26-020, Councilperson Brooks.
Aye.
Councilperson Zupa.
Aye.
Councilperson Efros.
Aye.
Councilperson Little.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson Singh.
Aye.
Councilperson Griffin.
Aye.
Councilperson LeVaro.
Aye.
And Council President Ridley.
Aye.
Motion carries 9-0 to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 26-020 for final consideration and adoption of City Ordinance 26-020. Councilperson Brooks.
Aye.
Councilperson Zupa.
Aye.
Councilperson Efros.
Aye.
Councilperson Little.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson Singh.
Aye.
Councilperson Griffin.
Aye.
Councilperson LeVaro.
Aye.
And Council President Ridley.
Aye.
City Ordinance 26-020 is adopted unanimously 9-0. On to our next second reading ordinance, item 4.3, City Ordinance 26-021. It's the franchise ordinance granting permission to Mason Ambassadors LLC, its successors and assigns to construct private improvements within 200 square feet, either plus or minus, of the First Street public right-of-way adjacent to Lot 26, Block 11402 on the official tax assessment map of the City of Jersey City, also known as 230 First Street. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please come up to the podium and state your name for the record.
Motion.
Motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 26-021 was made by Councilperson Gilmore. May I have a second?
Second.
I'm going to give that one to Brooks. On the motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 26
one.
days. What's that?
No,
He finally got.
go ahead, Sean.
26-02. You're getting me out of my rhythm. 26-021, Councilperson Brooks.
Aye.
Councilperson Zupa.
Aye.
Councilperson Efros.
Aye.
Councilperson Little.
I just want to note for the record that,
This is just to close the public hearing.
thank you. Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson Singh.
Aye.
Councilperson Griffin.
Aye.
Councilperson LeVaro.
Aye.
And Council President Ridley.
Aye.
Motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 26-021 is approved 9-0. For final consideration and adoption of City Ordinance 26-021, Councilperson Brooks.
Aye.
Councilperson Zupa.
Aye.
Councilperson Efros.
Aye.
And now Councilperson Little.
Thank you. I just was going to note for the record that this request is to extend the stairs in front of the home to the same location where the stairs in other homes on the same block are. So I vote aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson Singh.
Aye.
Councilperson Griffin.
Aye.
Councilperson LeVaro.
Aye.
And Council President Ridley.
Aye.
City Ordinance 26-021 is adopted unanimously 9-0. On to our last second reading ordinance, item 4.4, City Ordinance 26-022. It's a franchise ordinance granting permission to HHNJ Propco Phase 3 LLC to encroach within the public right-of-way sidewalk at portions of 15th and 16th Streets to allow for an elevated ramp and stairs for a building entry at 316 15th Street. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard?
Motion.
Motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 26-022 was made by Council President Ridley, seconded by Councilperson Gilmore. On the motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 26-022, Councilperson Brooks.
Aye.
Councilperson Zupa.
Aye.
Councilperson Efros.
Aye.
Councilperson Little.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson Singh.
Aye.
Councilperson Griffin.
Aye.
Councilperson LeVaro.
Aye.
And Council President Ridley.
Aye.
Motion carries 9-0 to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 26-022 for final consideration and adoption of City Ordinance 26-022. Councilperson Brooks.
Aye.
Councilperson Zupa.
Aye.
Councilperson Efros.
Aye.
Councilperson Little.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson Singh.
Aye.
Councilperson Griffin,
Aye.
Councilperson LeVaro,
Aye.
and Council President Ridley.
Aye.
City Ordinance 26-022 is adopted unanimously 9-0. Council members, before we move on to our public speaking request, I do want to get the vote for the council members on the introduction ordinances, items 3 that were not here, items 3.1 through 3.4. Councilperson Little on introduction.
For introduction.
Thank you. Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye for introduction.
First reading ordinances, item 3.1 through 3.4 are now introduced unanimously 9-0. Council President, I believe you wanted to
Yes.
make a statement.
I'm going to ask if Marty Valenti would come up. He has a statement he would like to read from Director Kearse. Our director is unable to be with us tonight due to family obligations, but there were some statements made on the record at our caucus meeting, and they just want to clarify those because we do have to vote on a resolution pertaining to it. And I'd like to do that before the speakers, just in case anyone wants to speak on that resolution, so everyone's sure about what exactly is going on.
Okay, before we let Marty, make sure the mic is by you, Marty. And you can see that Robert is shining the sun in my face, so you're being watched, just so you know.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam President, members of the council. On behalf of Director Kearse, I would just like to read into the record a memo in which I believe you've all received this afternoon in regards to two resolutions, agenda item 1030 and 1031. And I will read what Director Kearse. Dear President Ridley and members of the Municipal Council, on Monday, April 20th, Director Robert Baker appeared before the City Municipal Council at the caucus meeting to present information associated with resolutions 26.
Marty, just move the mic over.
That's the first time I've been told I can't be heard. 26-219 and 26-220. I requested that Director Baker represent me at a meeting as my wife underwent surgery earlier that day and I was unable to attend. Historically, prior to my appearance before the council at caucus meetings, I prepared detailed correspondence for each council member explaining the purpose of the resolution under consideration. This was also the case in this matter. Director Baker was provided a copy of the correspondence for reference. However, during the presentation, he included information that was factually inaccurate. The intent of the purchase was to provide interoperable communication equipment for members of the Jersey City Police Department Emergency Services Unit while performing tactical and improvised explosive IED operations, as well as for members of my office engaged in unified command operations. Both purchases were fully funded through the 2024 Urban Area Security Initiative UASI grant and have no direct or indirect association with the upcoming FIFA World Cup event. From a historic perspective, Jersey City, Newark, UASI region encompasses two core cities of Newark and Jersey City, along with the counties of Bergen, Hudson, Essex, Middlesex, Morris, Passaic, and Union counties. This program's purpose is to identify and address capability gaps by acquiring the necessary plans, equipment, training, and exercise required to prevent, protect against, and respond to and recover from acts of terrorism and any other major hazard. Since its establishment in 2003, UASI funding has been utilized to enhance regional preparedness, prevent terrorism, and protect high-threat, high-density urban areas such as Jersey City and Newark. Jersey City Police Department Emergency Services Unit, in addition to conducting tactical operation, also serves as a member of the New Jersey Render Safe Task Force. This collaborative statewide initiative, coordinated by the New Jersey State Police, is responsible for detecting and neutralizing explosive threats. The task force provides 24/7 mutual aid to all 21 counties in New Jersey and responds to incidents involving suspicious packages, bomb threats, and protective sweeps for high-profile events. Additionally, the Jersey City Fire Department and the Jersey City Police Department Emergency Services Unit, as well as the Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security, frequently respond to requests for mutual aid and assistance throughout Hudson County and broader UASC region. Historically, many local police, fire, EMS agencies have operated with incompatible radio equipment utilizing different frequency bands such as UHF, VHF. As a result, first responders are often required to carry multiple radios to maintain communication with neighboring agencies during joint operation. The procurement of this communication equipment will address the interoperability communication gap and significantly enhance the safety and operational effectiveness of the Jersey City's first responders, and I respectfully request that you approve these resolutions. Respectfully, W. Greg Kiss, Director, Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security.
Thank you.
Ask a question.
You have a question?
Oh, he's gone.
You have
If
questions
you
for
have a
Marty?
question, Councilman
Okay,
Singh,
just
you
wanted
can
to
ask.
clarify, because there was a confusion about FIFA, so thank you for clarifying. And sorry to hear about your wife. No, sorry, Mr. Kier's wife. But yes, we are thankful for the clarification. Sorry, you have to come.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your evening.
Thanks, Marty. All right, Sean.
Okay, now we're at the public request for a hearing. I'm going to be calling the number and the first name of the individual, so please make sure you pay attention to your agendas here present and everyone watching at home. With that being said, first speaker, 5.1, Laverne.
On behalf of Jersey City Recreation Director Thomas Best, Denise, Dawn Sharon, I'm here as a resident of Jersey City for 78 years. This young man, as a young man, went to 22 school, Lincoln High School, St. Peter's College. He stayed in and helped us with the kids in the Lafayette area and the recreation from all over the city. These young ladies that's running for these directors, we can't find a better director than Mr. Best here. And we stand behind him and these directors 100%. And let me tell you, we're here tonight, but we will be here back again. And you won't be able to sit in that seat because there'll be 1,000 people here. Children, oh, if we got to stay here all night, we're going to do it. We here in protest of not hiring him, even considering somebody else. That this man worked hard. I run a nonprofit, summer camp. I depend on him to help me with my kids. The Dolphins, the Lafayette Lions. What would we do without this man? You all let me know. It's for our children, for our community. It ain't about us. It ain't about a dollar bill. It's about keeping the people in the community to help the community. I'm tired of my young men standing on the corners, smoking weed and shooting and cutting. He helps them to straighten out and go to school. And go to my grandson is in Dickinson High School, only kind of him, playing basketball, baseball, football, softball. He got offered that 4 colleges, only kind of this man, at Southmore High School. 4 colleges. I can bring the papers in and show you. Only kind of man like this. They care about our children and our community. It ain't about us. It ain't about, it's about what he represents. It's about what he represents. And it's about we putting you guys in office to do stuff like this. To do stuff like this. Just like you got there. To God be the glory. We need you to represent our community. It ain't about personal gain. It's about what we're doing in this community. I fight every day for this community, for kids. I run a camp, free camp. I don't get no government money, no grant money. I get out here and make it happen for my community. I give away clothes, everything. No, not used. People use stuff for Salvation Army. People like him support me and what we do in our community. We need them to help us to keep it moving. I'm tired of going to funerals, jailhouses. We need this man, y'all. We need these young directors out here.
Thank you, Laverne. Thank you, Laverne.
We need Tommy Petty, y'all.
Thank you.
We need him.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tommy Best.
Thank you,
Can we-
Laverne.
Can we not yell out, please, please, please? Everybody will have their time to speak from the speakers list.
It's all right. We got it. Keep going.
Okay.
No problem. Let's go. Faithful.
Okay, our next speaker, 5.2, Gina.
Good evening, Gina Davison, Ward B. I'll speak tonight first about animal welfare, TNR funding, and support for cat rescue organizations in Jersey City. And I want to continue to thank the majority of this new council for expressing your support of animal welfare and your willingness to work with our animal rescue organizations and with Jersey City Shelter Director Mark Burns. I know my colleagues and partners are looking forward to the continued collaboration. And so you'll likely see many of us returning in the next few meetings to give updates and to refine our asks and plan forward. In the meantime, I just want to give you all a reminder of the cost savings that will come out of this work because it keeps coming up, right? We know we have severe budget constraints, but we also have
Gina, 1 second. If we can just close that back door, please. Thank you so much, Edward. Go ahead, Gina.
We know we have severe budget constraints and a local animal welfare emergency at the same time. So I want to reiterate, for every dollar spent on TNR and spay neuter, we save $13 in future animal control costs. This is referenced in New Jersey Bill A5145, which I'm directly quoted, and I will give you all the link to. For every dollar spent on spaying and neutering pets and local animals, $13 are saved in future control, shelter, vet, adoption, and euthanasia costs. It's a more than tenfold cost savings. Again, I want to thank you all for your support and ask you to continue to support this work. On another note, this is one of the last times you'll hear me personally speak for a while. I have to leave Jersey City. I can't afford to live here anymore. It's been 12 years of me here fighting to have a decent life. And we are constantly fighting. When I started coming to City Hall, it was because Andrew Washington was shot dead in his house while having a mental health crisis, justice for Drew. And now not only do we still not have a mental health crisis response that's adequate in the city, but we just closed Christ Hospital, which was the #1 place for psychiatric care for low income and folks in need. Last year, as a civil servant in this city, I made $10,000. Half of that money went right back into animal rescue. I used my own car to drive around the city and do all the work that I did. And now I can't do it anymore. So I'm going to go take care of myself and I'll come back when I can. But I do have a lot of hope when I look around and I see these young people that have joined our teams, when I see folks like Jake fighting for our healthcare, for Mr. Gilmore, for Eliana, and I want you guys to keep going.
Thank you, Gina. Thank you. Our next speaker, 5.3, Tina.
Hey, yes, my name is Tina. Yes, I do work for Education of Gilmore, but I'm speaking upon myself. Justice for Drew. Justice for Drew. So I'm here today because we have Tommy Best, and I feel like that we already know we should go in our community. If you've been in our community working, we should make sure we get the ones who've been in the community working. Stop going to get people from outside. That is the reason why we don't get help from the people in our community, because we look for others to come in our community and solve problems instead of looking for the people who've been doing the work for years. We should not be standing up here making a debate of this man getting a job. He should be at his desk, making sure changing our community around, and anybody else that filled out for our community. Well, you know that. I don't know what is going on that they taking the jobs away. Just like I've been talking about nonprofit. We got the same different people up here, but no one reached out. So it's showing me a concern. Are we helping the community? Are we helping the ones that live here? Are we helping the ones that bring them here and help them so they are able to be able to do what they need to do? I think so. Like, again, we should not be standing here. This man been doing stuff in the community long time. Just like when Webb said that she been doing stuff in the community. Why do we have to keep coming up here begging for y'all to help out our community that we've been building for years? It should not go like that. It should go from the people that been building the community. We all know that. What is the difference between him and the other guy? That's what I want to know. Location. That's what I want to know. What's the difference? 30-person policy. You only got 500,000 for the recreation. The budget. That's what I'm saying. That's the stuff that I'm talking about. No, let's have a meeting. Let's go over this and let's do the right thing for everyone. Let us stop stuffing it in our community. War F is the only one that's poor. Our community is the only one that's not growing. Our kids are so confused because we don't get help. We should not have to stand here. I don't want to see us again next Wednesday. I want to see us at a table that we're discussing about everything, nonprofit and also about Tommy Best. Let's go. That's right. This is still my time. Progress.
Okay, Ms. Barbara.
Let's go, y'all.
We hear you. We hear you.
Y'all already know how they feel. Well, I feel like that. I had something to say today about it because I was disappointed that no one even reached out. Yeah, you my boss, and I guess everybody depends that you should reach out to me, but it shouldn't go like that. I don't help just my War F. We help everybody in the community. So to see that happen, I feel bad for him. I feel upset because I feel the same way that we not getting no help.
Our next speaker, 5.4, Charlene.
Good evening, Council.
You're going to have to speak just a little bit louder, Charlene.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Good evening, Council. Happy Earth Day. I'm here because there's quite a number of things on the agenda this evening, and I appreciate the milkweed as the plant of 2026. Thank you. Thank you for that. I saw also that we have Councilman Zupas going to be joining the Open Space Committee. Congratulations. That's great. I think you'll bring a lot to that committee. There's also an agenda item about supporting a community park, the acquisition of what was a migrant community garden. That's a grant application. I hope that you all support that. Again, like some of the people up here speaking, it's a community initiative that was brought forth from the community, by the community, for the community. And I know you all want to support that. And then lastly, the Open Space Trust Fund, I saw that it's only being funded a quarter of a penny. That saddens me. Did we not learn anything from the pandemic about how important open space is and how it's much needed? That's also money for acquisition of space. So not just for improvements, but if we find land that we need to buy, we need to do it quickly and have that money in the bank and not be part of, necessarily drawing out of the operational funds, but that is collected for specifically green space. So I really would like you to think about increasing that, Maybe the administration said it was a quarter of a penny this year, but please think about making that more. And also the fact that, all these buildings, they're not putting balconies on them. So when the pandemic struck, a lot of people left the city for green space and openness. And then lastly, I want to talk about the JCMUA. There's a couple of resolutions to put people on the JCMUA. I think Deputy Mayor Podar is great. I think he's a good listener and he's a wise soul. I think he would be a huge addition there. But I have a problem with the other two who don't live in this city. When we have an agency that imposes fees and increases upon our residents, and I understand we're going to have another rate increase on the facility charges. You know what? I want people to be the ones that get the bills every month, not somebody who lives somewhere else that maybe doesn't suffer like us and doesn't understand that those monthly bills hit your pocketbook. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.5, Edward.
Good evening. Let's start with the meeting that was held at Dickinson High School. Thank you so much, council members, whoever took the lead there to just make yourselves accountable to the public. And although I've been standing here in the spirit of justice for Drew and demanding that we start to fund our mental health crisis response here in Jersey City through Jersey City Medical Center and other services, how are we going to be able to do that? Or how are we even beginning to do that when yet another hospital has closed? We have now one hospital with a population of over 300,000 people, and God knowing how many people may need mental health support throughout the range, okay? And Jersey City Medical Center will be the only hospital. I understand that the resolution passed. You had 30 days to review and come back with some decisions. The public desperately needs to hear from you and your committee. What has happened? What was the determination there? We have budget constraints, yes, but what are our goals? That's what a budget is. What are our goals? And I think that the people of Jersey City really need a council that really cares for them. We are squeezed. We are squeezed. We are squeezed. From hospitals to the lack of transportation, the lack of affordable housing, our infrastructure, the lack of jobs, segregation in our community, emergency services or the lack of emergency services support in our community, the lack of funding for nonprofits who oftentimes are at the bottom responding to calls when historically this body has not been able to be there. Not through policy, not through funding support, tangible efforts to help raise the quality of our life. And I stand here in solidarity with Mr. Best. The culture of this city is to look over people who have served honestly and hardworking for years. He served 22 years in our rec department. Blood, sweat, and tears, and to be looked over by someone that's the culture of this city, someone who has influence other than those outsiders, other than those who come from the inside, born and raised, bred, who've committed themselves to us. And now the ball is in your court. I urge you to look at all these issues that are before us, that have been before us, lead us with confidence and courage that we need now. Thank you. And justice for Drew.
Our next speaker, 5.6, Yvonne.
Good evening, Council. First of all, I want to say that I went to the budget hearing at City Hall, Ward E, when the mayor presented the budget. And I had a question for the mayor. My question was, why are tenants under rent control exempt from tax increases? I told the mayor that I have been going to Hudson County Tax Court for years, probably even longer than he's been a resident of Jersey City. I've been attending those courts with myself as well as friends who appealed. And I have always witnessed the tax judge give a win to landlords who own multifamily buildings under rent control. And the mayor denied this by saying when landlords go to tax court, sometimes they lose. So I decided that I'm going to read the rent control ordinance, section 260-2, part B. Any rental increase at a time other than at expiration of a lease or termination of a periodic lease shall be void. Any rental increase in excess of what is authorized by the provision of this chapter shall be void. So what are the increases if a tenant's going to renew their lease? A tenant renewing his lease for April got an increase of 2.9% for the month of April. For May, it was higher, 3.2%, because in May, the government put in the increase in oil, because it is not about taxes, it's about the consumer price index. It's nothing to do with taxes at all. My suggestion is the mayor should go to tax court or read the ordinance. Tenants under rent control do not pay tax increases. They do not. By the way, the Board of Ed will, during that particular meeting in Ward E, if there was an announcement made that the Board of Ed will increase their taxes by 17%, which comes out to approximately, according to Hudson County View, $2,000 in addition to what the city will increase the amount. We are allowing homeowners to lose their homes so another group of people can have cheap housing. That's what it's all about. And I think anyone who lost their house in a tax lien, they should sue the city because the city is abusing them so another group can be protected from tax increases. So I think the mayor should read the orders or go to tax court because he is absolutely wrong on the subject of rent control.
You. Our next speaker, 5.7, Sherry.
You're ready.
Good evening. My name is Sherry Singh, and I'm the founder for Whole Spectrum Autism. Whole Spectrum Autism was found here in this beautiful city of ours, Jersey City. But before anything else, I am a mother, and everything I'm about to say comes from life experience. I started Whole Spectrum Autism because I saw what happened when supports end. When children age out, when service disappear, when families are left alone to figure everything out with no guidance or structure or no real support system in place. That is the reality in this city. So we stepped in, we build a community, we create program, we create safe, inclusive space where our children and adults can feel accepted, support, and understood. And for years, the city supported that work with a small budget that allow us to provide appropriate events for family each year. Not luxury, not extra. Essential experience for children and adults who already face enough barriers. Today, that funding is gone. I had a meeting with Mayor Solomon in February, and I questioned the funding. Mayor Solomon said to me that the funding line is still there. I reach out to Recreation, and Recreation, the person that's there right now in Recreation said to me that funding is not there. Now it's April, the ending of April. And our residents here in Jersey City has not had any activity in this city of ours for special needs. Where is the funding going? My question here tonight, where is this funding going? Jersey City is the second largest city. We have no program, no activities, nothing here for disability that's funded in our city. So my question here, standing in front of all of you tonight, is to find out, go back, look into it. Where is the funding going and why is this happening in this city? As a mother and as an advocate for all the families, hundreds and thousands of families here in this city, I will take legal action against the city if we don't try to get this together. It's not fair in what's happening here with our loved ones, and we are being forced to move out of Jersey City because there's nothing here. Along with the high rents, high taxes, and no program, there's nothing here. We're isolated. A lot of our parents are on the verge, just like myself was here in Jersey City, wanted to take my own life. We are isolated. We are
Thank you,
begging for
Sherry.
help. Please come out and
Council
help.
President, can I ask a question?
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
Thank you. Can you share if you were getting just city grants or state grants too?
It's city grants. When we first started, it was city grants, yeah.
Okay, and would you be able to provide how many families you have served and what was the grant amount given to you in past years? If you can provide all the information, can we please look into this?
Yes, it wasn't.
So Sherry, you don't have to answer that now, but can you go back in your records and send her that information so she has everything in writing so she can start a paper trail and look into where the funding is?
Yes, we used to send all that information to the Department of Recreation because the money came from the Department of Recreation.
So did you get the grant from Recreation in 2025?
I don't know if they call it a grant. So we didn't, it wasn't a grant. I know the way it was written with the last mayor that was done. The Department of Recreation, since they have no program, we provide those programs for them and they paid for the programs.
Okay, so
So it would be
Councilwoman, can you
helpful,
take this
yes.
conversation offline with Sherry? So we
Okay.
can get all her information.
Yeah, I'm going to have my legislative director, Zeke, talk to you as well. We'd love to be supportive in figuring this out. Thank you for your advocacy.
My chief of staff is there. He'll connect with you. Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker, 5.8, Philip.
Council President Ridley, members of the City Council. I am Philip Carrington. I wrote a letter to Council President Ridley on March the 28th. I haven't received a response. A copy of that letter was sent to Gilmore's office. I got a response from his aide. I got a response from Jasmine. I got a response from Noam. The letter was basically the basic question that I'm looking for. Who gave the order for 2 police cars to be in front of 127-133 Martin Luther King Drive? The building is being occupied by the white Jews, whatever Hasidims, I don't know, whatever they are Jews. And there's no certificate of occupancy for them to be there. They are operating illegally. How do I know that? Well, I took over that building in 1998, leased with the option to purchase. The building was a touch of class. It never had a certificate of occupancy. For history, certificate of occupancy started around 1973. All other buildings were grandfathered. So the building had violations, as many buildings did. We were chased all over the place. We received summons. I give you a copy of that letter. I received all policing agency from the building department and the fire department and so on and so on, and the police department as well. And so we had to stand in front of a judge. We were humiliated when we tried to operate there. Well, the Jews are there now operating illegally. The same building with the same violations. And not one person is forcing them to leave. It was so embarrassing around March 13th. The police was there. 2 police cars were ordered to be there in front of them while they commit crime or in violation of the law. When we were there, the police was there to chase us, to give us handcuffs or make sure we pay fines. So that is inconsistency. How could that continue to operate? So the simple question is, someone had to act, in the city government, have to acknowledge that there was a religious operation being there, for the police to be there. The police was there and they told us that they're to guard the building. So they're watching the white people when they commit crime. When the black people committing crime, we're being chased and locked up or whatever else. So my question to you is, can I get a copy of who give place to order for the police to be there? A simple question. Can I get an answer to that?
Mr. Carrington, as it relates, so just so you know, there are citations that have been issued.
There are?
Yes, there are citations that have been issued for occupying a building. So I'll follow up with you further on that. I just had a conference call, I think yesterday or today, about the situation, but they sent emails saying that citations were issued.
Repeat the last thing.
He said they sent emails saying
Confirmation, yes.
citations were issued. So Phil, if you could resend me that email, because I don't have the email from the 28th, and then we'll forward to the administration.
My email?
Yes, we'll forward to the
I give you a
administration.
hard copy.
Okay, you can give me a hard copy and we'll forward to the administration about the cop cars. The council doesn't send out cop cars, so it didn't come from us.
Thank you, Councilman Gilmore, for looking into this. And Mr. Carrington, we've talked about this before with this council, it's not productive to just call people just the Jews. So you could please refrain in your future comments.
And we have to be respectful for all the communities, please.
Bill, let's not call out.
Yes.
Okay, our next speaker, 5.9, Renee. Is Renee here?
Bill, come on, you're here every meeting. You know we don't call out.
Are you Renee? Okay.
Bill, please have a seat. Thank you.
Go ahead, Renee.
Good evening, council members. I want to begin by sincerely thanking you for the respectful and professional way you've engaged with our school community. Your willingness to listen, to be receptive to our ideas, and to take the time to understand our needs has meant a great deal to us. The experience has stood in meaningful contrast to some of the challenges we faced elsewhere, and it has reinforced our belief that collaboration with city leadership is both possible and worthwhile. I'm referring, in case you don't already know, to the PS16 lack of space at school and the proposition to move our kindergarten program to Danforth Avenue. I'm also referring to the assistance that we've had with our safety at our bus stops as well, at both ends, Danforth Avenue, and Councilwoman Little was there, and so many people were there, and it was just a really great showing, and really thank you. So we're here again tonight to continue advocating for a path forward to build a school that serves our students and families. Our enrolment continues to grow, our programs continue to expand, and the need for permanent, appropriate facility becomes more urgent with each passing year. But just as importantly, we are here to demonstrate our commitment to this process. We are invested in this city. Our families live here, work here, and contribute to this community every single day. We want to be part of the solution, and we are ready to partner in meaningful ways to make progress. We understand that building a school is complex. It takes time, coordination, careful planning. We respect that. What we are asking for is continued partnership, continued communication, and continued momentum toward a viable path forward. Thank you again for your time and your attention and your respect. We will continue to show up, continue to advocate for our students, and continue working alongside you until a solution is found. We look forward to the day when this conversation becomes groundbreaking.
Next speaker, 5.10, Isla. I.10, Isla. No? 5.11, Mercedes.
Hello. Um, Good evening, council members. My name is Mercedes Fielding. I am a resident of Jersey City, Ward C, and I am speaking on behalf of over 700 residents who have signed a petition in support of expanding trap, neuter, return, or TNR programs in our city. I know Gina was here earlier speaking about it, but I am here because residents are already doing the city's work without funding and without transportation and without a system to support us. Right now, Jersey City is seeing a growing population of stray and community cats across multiple neighborhoods. While this may seem like a smaller issue compared to others facing in the city, it is still an issue that matters. All community issues matter the same when they affect residents, public health, and the well-being of animals in our city. Many residents, myself included, care deeply and are deeply trying to help, but we are doing it alone. People are trapping cats, feeding colonies, and paying out of pocket while trying to manage a problem that is increasing faster than individuals can realistically keep up with. While this creates an inconsistent, under-resourced system where residents are essentially acting as the only line of response, without formal support, funding, or coordination from the city, we are asking the city to take meaningful action by providing dedicated municipal and/or state funding for TNR programs, creating free or low-cost TNR voucher systems that residents can actually use at participating veterinary clinics, and expanding partnerships with local veterinarians so that services can meet real community demand. TNR is a proven humane and cost-effective method of managing community cat populations. It reduces suffering, prevents unnecessary euthanasia, as Gina said previously, and stabilizes populations over time. But it only works when it is accessible at scale, not when it relies on individual residents to carry the burden. This is already happening in our city. The question is whether it will continue to be carried informally by residents or supported properly through city infrastructure. We are asking for support so that residents are not left alone to manage a growing citywide issue. This problem is already being handled by the community. We are asking the city to finally meet us halfway. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Our next speaker, 5.12, Ryan. Thank you. Next speaker, 5.13, Joe.
Good evening, Council. My name is Joe Maney. I'm a Jersey City educator over 12 years and a Ward B resident for over a decade. I typically avoid political involvement, but I feel compelled to speak about the division and ineptitude that our ward has experienced under Councilman Brooks. To begin, Councilman Brooks is scheduled to hold his first town hall tomorrow, more than 100 days into his term. In that same time, Ward C has already held 3. For over 3 months, Ward B residents have had no meaningful opportunity to open dialogue. Brooks has spent those 100 days lying down in hospital parking lots or protesting federal law. He focuses on virtue signaling instead of solving local problems and needs reminding that his jurisdiction ends outside Ward B. Equally concerning is the lack of the consistent presence from his office at local police captains' meetings. Ward B faces serious challenges, including violent crime and theft, and it's essential that our elected representative is present to hear and respond to those concerns. West Side Avenue is plagued with vagrants who harass passersby, sell drugs, and leave broken shards of alcohol bottles on school grounds. When confronted about these problems, Councilman Brooks said he wouldn't pursue the issue as those criminals, and I quote, had a rough childhood. Communication from the councilman's office has also been limited and unclear. Residents are often left relying on informal social media channels, which can lead to confusion and speculation rather than clarity. Brooks himself is dismissive when contacted directly, highlighted when Ward B experienced 2 homicides in the span of a 36-hour period. When asked for an update, he replied that weekends are for his family and he would get information the following Monday. Seems that violent crime can only be reported during business hours. Finally, Councilman Brooks has chosen his Socialist Party over the residents who do actual good for the community. His staff is comprised of only DSA members who have shown to be inept in every facet of the job. Their only impact so far has been when they storm local hospitals and get arrested. Many long-standing community leaders feel overlooked and disconnected, and as a result, opportunities for collaboration between the councilman's office and ward advocates have eroded. I encourage my fellow Ward B residents to attend the upcoming town hall and inform the councilman that his constituents and local problems should supersede his socialist agenda. Thank you.
Go ahead, Councilman Brooks.
Joe, I appreciate you taking time out, and for everyone who's watching at home, our first town hall will be held tomorrow night at the Miller Branch Library at 6:30 p.m. It'll be hybrid, so people can participate remotely, and here to have a dialogue, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow night. Thanks, Joe.
Okay, our next speaker, 5.14, Shuren.
Today, Earth Day, MSCB asks for your vote of support for a resolution on city partnership on a county grant to help fund acquisition of the vital former migrant community garden. For 22 years, the garden was a peaceful urban oasis, nature's nourishing outdoor classroom, the heartbeat of the neighborhood, before being sold for luxury housing. Community felt a deep loss when the garden was dismantled and locked up from the growing neighborhood it holistically served, students, families, immigrants, and everyone. Importantly, it served migrants. Jersey City, our sanctuary city's most vulnerable. You won't hear from them tonight because some of them have moved on, and others, with today's national political climate, can't put their name to a letter or on the record to speak up for their human rights and their needs. This census tract is a densely populated urban ASOBC with 79% low income, 73% minority, and over 50% of households who don't speak English at home. Acquisition fully aligns with the affordability goals in the Jersey City Master Plan open space element. Its number one priority is acquisitions in neighborhoods, including Journal Square and the West Side where this is. Community recognizes the essential quality of life value of the garden for fresh produce in a food desert, access to nature and urban wildlife habitat, education, and even a study break, and community connection. The garden united everyone. We took action and never gave up hope, receiving support from all wards throughout the city. We pledged volunteer maintenance, and we know if we don't advocate for conservation, the community garden will be lost forever. Green spaces don't just grow back. Protecting them requires passionate folks volunteering to work with their electeds to be the change. This Earth Day, here in one of the largest cities of the Garden State, we're on the brink of the environmentally and socially responsible solution we dreamed big of for 3 years. We presented fiscally sound, sustainable options for grants to offset city costs. Thankfully, the owner is amenable, creating a collective shared win for all. The resolution is for Hudson County Open Space Trust. That trust is more than just financial. We honor that trust that the city places in MSCB as teammates were ready to revitalize the garden and be good ancestors, creating a legacy for future generations as our community continues to grow and thrive.
Thank you. Our next speaker, 5.15, Nathan.
Good evening, council people. I'm here to speak in support of Resolution 26-210 concerning the effort to apply for grants to acquire 128 Glenwood Avenue and partner with Jersey City in restoring the former migrant garden. I serve on the McGinley Square Community Board, which was formed 3 years ago. As a little background, my wife and I moved from downtown Jersey City to McGinley Square. We were thrilled to realize that there was a community garden on our block of Glenwood. This particular block is diverse in literally every aspect, culturally, socioeconomically, and architecturally. On our small one-way block, we have several large apartment buildings that lack green space. As a result, it is not uncommon to see residents congregating in front of their buildings on warm summer evenings to enjoy the weather and to meet with their neighbors. For most residents, the sidewalk has been their park. For years, the migrant garden at 128 Glenwood Avenue provided a unique opportunity for the residents to connect with their neighbors and to grow vegetables that they could enjoy themselves or donate to St. Aidan's Migrant Center, which is a supportive network for the immigrant community of Jersey City. To say this garden was an asset to Jersey City residents, especially immigrants, is an understatement. My wife and I had a plot in this garden. It was here that we felt like we were a part of our new community. You can imagine the sorrow that was felt when this property was sold, with plans to be developed into luxury housing. And thus, the McGinley Square Community Board was born out of a desire to ensure that our neighborhood grows responsibly while preserving what little green space remains. With your support of this resolution, our intention is to restore this garden to its former glory, only better by partnering with the city. In addition to offering plots to gardeners, we intend to host gardening education classes, yoga in the park, performances by in the park by local theater companies. The feedback from residents is that they would appreciate a composting station, an egg sharing program, maybe even beekeeping, or to simply grab a seat on a bench and catch up with a neighbor and enjoy the canopy of trees. By partnering with us, Jersey City would be growing in a responsible way, in a way that residents would directly benefit from. On this Earth Day, we're hoping that you vote to approve this resolution so we can once again bring this garden back to the community. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.16, Rochelle.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Rochelle Hoffman. I am going to speak very fast because I've been asked to speak on behalf of several individuals here tonight. But first, I'm here thanking Councilwoman Mata for recognizing the Senate Bill 3761. I'm so excited about that, about the alcohol warning signage. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone that's going to sign on that tonight. I do have some information about that, and we're going to be sharing within the community about, do you know how much alcohol you should drink? So approximately 20,000 deaths each year are attributed to alcohol-related cancers. The CDC reports that excessive alcohol use contributes to about 178,000 deaths annually in the United States. And according to the CDC, excessive alcohol use costs the United States approximately $249 billion. So let me pivot. I actually did a video on my way here, and this is something that We Care movement, we love to support those who ask for it. So we have not only Sabrina Harold, who submitted her resume for Director of HR for the City of Jersey City. We as Black women like to stand in solidarity and support of our women who are qualified, who have met the threshold, who can actually like being an asset to the city. Our sister Dawn Sheridan for Deputy Director of HR. She has over a decade of HR experience. Herself alone have submitted her qualifications through the city. We hope that the city council, along with Mayor Solomon, review these resumes because we're hearing that the resumes were submitted months ago and there have not been any communication. These two young ladies are very qualified for this position for human resources. And also Mr. Tommy Best, as I stood up in solidarity earlier for Mr. Best to become the Director of Recreation. His qualifications speak for himself. I just want to contribute to the Hudson Chronicle for sharing his background with me because I never met Mr. Best, but I did read about his qualifications. And we hope the city can take in all of the conversations that's been talked about and heard about. But again, I want to say thank you, City Council, for everything that you guys are doing. I'm looking forward to the resolution, Councilwoman Mata. Thank you so very much. We have a long way to go with this resolution to get the state to amend the alcohol warning signage. And hopefully, Cory Booker, I did on my video, I hope you're listening because we're going to come to the federal. So all of the residents in Jersey City who misuse alcohol, there's 9 liquor stores on MLK Drive and a 3-mile radius. The population there is being destroyed, there's destruction, and there's the misuse. So we hope that this will continue and the support will grow. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I have a question for corporate counsel. Do we have to wait for the state to place this signage, or is this something that we can do as Jersey City when the resolution is passed? Or do we have to create an ordinance?
I don't know. I can look into it. It's probably something we can do, but this is the first time that I'm thinking about it. So we'll look into it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, our next speaker, 5.17, Danielle.
Good evening, Council President and members of the council. I'm here tonight in strong support of various items tonight, but I want to be very clear. 128 Glenwood is the heart of this conversation because this is not just about acquiring land. This is about correcting a mistake. A space that once served as a community garden, an urban oasis in one of the most densely populated parts of Ward C was lost, and now we have a choice. Do we continue prioritizing private development, or do we reclaim space for the people who actually live here? Because Journal Square does not have Lincoln Park, it does not have large accessible green space. What it has are small, fragile opportunities like this. And if we lose them, they're gone permanently. So yes, supporting Glenwood is about open space, but it is also about equity. The Senior Farmers Market resolution is also about equity because access to fresh food is public health. For our seniors, this is not a bonus. It is dignity. It is survival. The lot lien resolution, that is about accountability. Neglected properties impact entire blocks. They affect safety, sanitation, and quality of life. And enforcement matters because it tells residents your neighborhood is worth protecting. But I want to address the resolution granting a permit for a fireworks display at Liberty National Golf Club. This was already defeated, and it should be again. Because what's missing from these approvals over and over is any real consideration of environmental impact or quality of life. Fireworks are not neutral. They bring noise that impacts families, young children, and residents with PTSD. They cause distress to pets and animals, pets and wildlife. They contribute to air and debris pollution. And yet, these permits continue to come forward as if those impacts don't exist, as if the quality of life only matters when it's convenient. And that's the contradiction, because tonight we're being asked to protect open space at Glenwood while also being asked to approve something that actively disrupts environmental stability and community well-being. We cannot say we value quality of life and then ignore it when it's inconvenient. So tonight, this is bigger than a series of votes. This is about whether Jersey City is willing to protect what little green space we have left, invest in public health, hold property owners accountable, and actually apply a consistent standard for quality of life. Because quality of life is not one policy. It is a sum of your decisions. Support Glenwood, support our seniors, support accountability, but stop ignoring the real impacts when it comes to environmental harm and public space. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.18, Kevin.
Good evening. I'm Kevin Weller. I'm the president of Portside Towers East Tenant Association. I live at 155 Washington Street. You'll notice something different tonight. For 3.5 years, every meeting, every other Wednesday, a line of my neighbors has stepped to this microphone, 15, 20 at a time, sometimes 30 or more. Tonight, that line has 2 people in it, Michelle Hirsch and me. Everyone else who came here tonight came to be seen and not heard. We made a choice. We want to be honest about why. 3.5 years of showing up has bought us something. It has bought us the right to sit down and to be heard anyway. The new administration has taken office. We've been watching closely. What we have seen over the last 100 days is a shift in tone and posture. Willingness the city has not shown in years to ask hard questions and pursue hard answers. We see this council putting real hours into real work, and we see a new administration that is asking the right questions for the first time in memory, maybe in the first time in 2 decades. So tonight, we are taking a leap of faith. We're giving back some time, not because anything has changed for the people behind me. It's not. The pressure that brought us here for 3.5 years did not pause this week. Rents are still climbing. Families are still being squeezed. The neighbors standing behind me did not come because things got better. It came because they're still here and because this still matters. What paused is the sound of our voices. This is not retreat. This is a gesture we have earned the right to make. You're listening. You're paying attention. Tonight, we are giving the administration and this council some room. And we are giving the community some time. We've been asking this body to do this work since November of 2022. For the first time in a long time, we feel heard. Thank you for that.
Our next speaker, 5.19, Jess.
He chooses not to speak.
You want to stay up there to let me know?
All the way to me, they choose not to speak tonight.
Okay, so
Including Mabel.
5.19, 20.
Got a sign. Including Mabel, who came all the way out tonight.
Still go? Okay. I wish we would have heard 5-year-old Mabel. Anyway, 5.22. 5.23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, and 5.37, Michelle.
Good evening. I'm Michelle Hirsch. I'm the president of the Portside Towers West Tenant Association at 100 Warren Street. I want to speak to the people behind me as much as I want to speak to you. Look at them, count them. There are at least 15 to 20 people that came tonight and they chose silence. They're not here because they have nothing to say. They're here because they trust Kevin and me to speak for them this week. That's a harder thing to do than it sounds. Most of them wrote a speech, and then they were willing to set it aside, hoping it will never be needed. They did it because they trust us, and we trust the council to continue doing what it started to do. These are the people whose silence you are hearing. The woman who's lived at 100 Warren for 18 years and has nowhere else to go. Families who moved here for the schools and now find themselves fighting to stay. A Navy veteran. A mother whose 5-year-old was going to speak into this microphone tonight for the first time in her life. Hold that sign, Mabel. You already know the people normally choose to speak not because they love a microphone, but because they love their community, their neighborhood, and Jersey City. They've chosen to believe that everyone else in this room loves it too. When I sit down tonight, I'm sitting down holding hope close in my heart, hope that someday the only thing left for us to say here will be thank you, and hope that the quiet in this chamber tonight turns out to be the sound of good work getting done. We are giving you room. We are giving you our trust. Please use both of them well. Thank you.
So, Sean, I want to say something. I just want to thank Kevin, Michelle, and all of Portside. I know we've gone back and forth about, speaking in certain things for different council meetings. And I just want to tell you all that I really appreciate and I recognize your willingness to choose silence at this meeting. And I know that this is a fight that you've been having for years now. So this is definitely not easy for you to do. I understand that. And I want to say that doing that does not mean that you're not holding us accountable. And if things are not moving along, then I know you will be back in full force with everyone speaking. And we expect that. We expect that you'll hold us accountable as you have been doing for years. So we understand, we're working on it, and we appreciate you.
Council President, if I may.
Yes.
I'll be very brief. I just want to say thank you all for your silence. And your silence speaks volumes. And it truly moved and inspired by it, and have been since you've been coming here. And now with your silence, you literally lift us up again and to take it to the next level. So we hope we can honor. I'll speak for myself. I hope I can honor your actions and your silence by making sure we do right by you. Thank you.
Okay, Sean.
I was just going to say, thank you for all your advocacy, and I recognize that this leap of faith is significant and it is a responsibility, and it is not one that I take lightly, and I hope it is not one that any of my colleagues take lightly. So, thank you.
I just want to say I'm disappointed that I didn't hear from Mabel. Adorable. And my wife thanks every one of you. Next speaker, 5.38, Ali.
Hello, good evening. I just took English a little, so my friend, Mr. Shab, he say what's my problem, okay?
You're listed as the speaker. You have to speak.
Okay.
Unless he's interpreting for you.
I try, okay. It's my name is Ali Isa. And it's my name, it's Ali Isa, and
let me stop the time for you. Do you have any problems with English? Because if he can interpret for you, if that's what you said, I'm sorry, I didn't really hear you.
yeah, if he can talk.
Come back up. My apologies.
Good evening, council members. My name is Shihab Zahir Hussain. My family owns and operates a food truck here in Zone 1. And today I'm speaking not only on behalf of my family, but also alongside and support of other food truck owners affected by the proposed Zone 1 lottery for our parking locations. For years, we have operated in full compliance with city regulations. We have paid for our spots on time, passed inspections annually, and built our businesses honestly within the system the city has created. These locations are not just parking spots to us, they are the foundation of our businesses. What is being proposed is not a small adjustment. It is a complete disruption to the stability that small businesses owners depend on. Many of us have spent years building a consistent customer base tied to these exact locations. Our customers know where to find us. They rely on us being there. A lottery system removes that stability and disrupts that customer base immediately. This change would have a significant financial impact. Relocating vendors at random means starting over in a new location, facing uncertain foot traffic, and taking on a real risk of lost income. For many of us, this is our primary source of income, supporting our families and covering our monthly expenses. We have remained committed even when business was slow, especially during the winter months, continue to make payments and meet every requirement the city has asked of us. That level of commitment should be recognized and rewarded, not put at risk. All we are asking is for the city to act fairly. A reasonable solution would be to allow vendors who have consistently paid and complied with all regulations to retain their current spots. A lottery system could still be used, but for new applicants or for those who have not met their payments or complied with any city obligations. This approach maintains opportunity while also respecting the businesses and food truck owners that have already invested in the system. Additionally, the city should consider expanding the number of available food truck locations so that compliant paying vendors are not jeopardized by this new policy. We reached out earlier this month to Mayor Solomon on April 8th and were told that a resolution would be considered. We have not heard back as of yet. With the lottery scheduled for April 26th, the time is very limited, and we are here today asking for the resolution to be made clear. We are part of this community. We have followed the rules. We have met every requirement asked of us. Now we're asking for the city to reconsider this decision and to act in a fair and reasonable manner. We respectfully urge the council to act in good faith and implement a solution that protects existing vendors while still allowing room for growth. Thank you for your time and consideration. I have a copy of the email we sent to Mayor Solomon. I can provide that to you.
Please, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Just
Councilman Afros.
thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for coming here to talk about this issue. My staff has been working on this. We've been talking with food truck owners earlier today. We've been on the phone with folks from administration. Would love to follow up with you. We'll make sure to follow up and be in touch. But yeah, we want to find a sensible solution for everyone because y'all work really hard. So thank you.
Councilwoman
Can I
Singh.
ask, where do you park your truck?
We park on the corner of Christopher Columbus Drive. It's 56 Christopher Columbus Drive, so it's the intersection of Warren Street and Columbus.
So we are exploring new streets to park in different neighborhoods. It is just taking time. We started working on it, but my team member will be talking to you to get the information. But trust us, we are working for you guys and making sure that we can find the option where you can, majority of you can have trucks because there are new food trucks coming. The lottery system was started so that everybody gets the opportunity. But we are exploring new neighborhoods. So thank you for coming out.
Thank you for working with us.
Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker, 5.39, Robert.
Hi, I'm Robert Fu. You got to me way faster than I had expected, so I'm a little bit caught by surprise. But I want to speak in favor of passing Resolution 26210 for the city to partner with McGinley Square Community Board to return 128 Glenwood Ave back to its role as community garden. It's something that's sorely needed in our neighborhood. I never knew it. I never knew the original community garden, but it would be an incredible asset to the neighborhood. Now that the owner is ready to sell is a not to be missed opportunity. Please pass this resolution. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.40, Mohammed. Mohammed here.
Good evening, all.
You have to bring the mic.
Bring the mic up.
Good evening, all. Thank you so much. My name is Mohammed Al. I have the same issue, which is a food truck business.
Can you bring the mic a little closer to you?
I have been in this location, you can believe it, almost 20 years. I was the only one who started food truck business in Jersey City. And my food truck is a green food truck. Perhaps most of you know it. It's a very, very popular food truck. Everybody knows we sell very good food, very reasonable prices, and we do not do anything wrong. We follow the rules all time. No problems of any kind. I have family of 4. I have my own expenses, and I'm 71 years old. Please, let me stay in my location the end of my life. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.41, Josh. 5.41, Josh. 5.42, Carol. Carol left. 5.43, Natalie. No. 5.44, Enja. If I mispronounced it, I apologize.
Jali.
Say it again, Councilperson LeVar.
Jali Prakash.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. I must say, my name is Anjali Prakash from Ward F, and I must say you're all very nice people here. I almost thought about asking for appeal with a parking ticket from Fulop administration, but I'll get to the point. I'm here today with 2 other parents representing Parents United for Jersey City Public School Education Reform, advocating for students with disabilities. We're speaking as one, since each of us is allotted 3 minutes. We will speak consecutively to complete our remarks. We want to begin with gratitude. Thank you, Dr. Bryan, council members Afros, Griffin, Little, and Singh, who attended part or all of the Jersey City Board of Education meeting in March, alongside Assembly Member Brennan. Your presence mattered. It signaled that what is happening in special education is not just a school issue, but a broader community issue. For those who were unable to attend, we urge you to watch the recording. It's not as nice as this one. It lays bare failures that families have been raising for years. We're here tonight because our children cannot wait any longer. They need your help. We are also here to invite you to the April 30th Board of Education meeting, not only as elected officials, but as leaders whose presence carries weight. In this city, endorsements matter. The community pays attention to where you stand and who you stand with. When we serve the most vulnerable in our schools, we serve all. We're here today with 3 clear demands for special education in Jersey City, which will be outlined by the speakers who follow me. What our children are experiencing did not happen overnight. Parents began requesting a comprehensive audit of JCPS special education around 2019. That was 7 years ago. In the life of a child, 7 years is not a bureaucratic delay, it's childhood. What has happened since is a case study in institutional evasion. In June 2023, the board authorized Lurch, Vinci, and Bliss to conduct an agreed upon procedures report on special education department. The firm completed its findings in September 2024. According to reporting by the Jersey City Times, the report was delivered to Superintendent Dr. Norma Fernandez and shared with board members in October of the same year by Acting Business Administrator Dr. Dennis Fernaffel just days before his resignation. The board did not publicly acknowledge receiving it. The findings were not discussed at a public meeting until November 2025, more than a year later, when board members were confronted directly with what they knew and when. Our next speaker will discuss those findings.
Let me just reset the time. And your speaker, 5.45, Danielle?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Good evening. My name is Danielle Walker. I reside in Ward E, and I will discuss the audit findings. Those findings were serious. The report documented overpayments, unsupported invoices, and errors in the district's 2022-2023 state aid application, a critical issue because state aid is calculated in part on reported special education costs and enrollment. Errors in that application can mean the district received the wrong amount of funding. Among the findings, the district paid for students at placement sites where attendance records showed they were not present. It paid for aides whose assignments were not supported by programming. It made payments that could not be verified as serving Jersey City students at all. When Superintendent Fernandez was asked about these findings, she described them as just poor record keeping. That is not an adequate response when public funds meant for children with disabilities cannot be accounted for, especially as JCPS faces both state aid reductions of $4 million and rising budget by $93 million. But the financial mismanagement is only part of the story. Behind the numbers are the children. In the spring of 2025, the New Jersey Graduation Proficiency Assessment, only 14.2% of Jersey City Public Schools special education students were graduation ready. 14.2%. In English and language arts. In math, that number was 1.4%. Those outcomes are not anomalies. They reflect years of inadequate programming, services not delivered, and placements driven by administrative convenience rather than student need. The district's actions have also raised serious concerns about accountability. In August of 2025, Dr. Cristanino, Assistant Superintendent for Special Education, was removed from his position. A part 2 of the audit exists and still has not been released. A motion in February 2026 to establish a public timeline for its release failed by 1 vote. Jersey City is not a poor district. Jersey City Public Schools spends more than $31,000 per pupil, well above the state median. The question is not whether or not the resources exist. The question is whether they are being used effectively and transparently. Federal law is clear. The IDEA guarantees every eligible child a free and appropriate education. That right belongs to the child. When services are not delivered and when placements are not appropriate, that is not a paperwork issue, it's a violation.
Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.46, Jessica.
Good evening. My name is Jessica Taub. I am a resident of Ward B, and I am a parent of 2 children in Jersey City Public Schools, one of them in special education who has been out of the classroom for a year and a half. He's still enrolled. He hasn't been in a classroom for a year and a half. We are asking for your partnership in urging the Jersey City Board of Education to take 3 concrete steps. We want you to put pressure on them to do these things. First, release the special education agreed upon report part 2 immediately with a public timeline to address every finding. Our community has waited long enough. Children who were in kindergarten when this began are now teenagers. This report belongs to the public. Second, commission a comprehensive, independent special education audit of the full department, comparable to the audit conducted by American Educational Consultants in TNEC in 2018. That audit examines special education programming quality, staffing, placement practices, compliance, and fiscal management. JCPS needs the same, not a financial review, a full programmatic reckoning. Third, hire a new permanent director of special education through a rigorous national search with meaningful community input. The acting director, Karen Goulet, served as a senior leader in the department during the years under review. Continuity in that leadership is not a solution. It is more of the same. Just today, a case manager gave me egregiously incorrect information about what was allowed in a meeting. And because I know my rights, I spoke up for myself. How many parents don't and are told the wrong thing? The children this department is supposed to serve are some of the most vulnerable in our city. They are also some of the most resilient, creative, and determined. They do not need to be protected from high expectations. They need a school system that meets them with the same determination they bring every day. We are not here tonight as adversaries. We are here as parents, asking our elected leaders to see what is happening and to act. This is not abstract. There are about 4,000 children. These are about 4,000 children in your districts, on your streets, and in your neighborhoods. Their futures are being shaped right now by decisions made or avoided, and we are your constituents, parents of these children. We represent a growing group of about 50 parents from across the city. We are asking for your help now, because once again, 7 years is not a delay, it is a childhood, and our children are still waiting. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your advocacy for your own kids, for the kids in our community, and for our public school system. I just have a question, process-wise. I'd love to be supportive as much as I can in those goals that you just stated. Regarding an audit within Jersey City Public Schools, because they get funding through local tax dollars, what and maybe this is a question for corporation counsel or for the business administrator, but what kind of avenue would city council have in terms of advancing that goal? Understanding it's not only a financial audit, but a programmatic one. Do we have any leverage, or is this something that we would just need to advocate and organize around?
So I'll let Sarah take the legal explanation if there is one. I don't know if there currently is right now. To my knowledge, I don't think we've ever had the ability to legally request an audit. I know previously past administration and past councils have formed a committee that has tried to engage with the Board of Ed to discuss the financial situation there, to discuss how the city can potentially help with funding, which led to kind of the payroll tax. I don't know the entirety of the participation there or what legally they were required to do for participation, but depending what the council wants to do, that might be the best avenue to kind of re-resurrect that committee and see if they can have an open dialogue with the Board of Ed to try to tackle some of these issues.
Yeah. Swami Singh.
Thank you, ladies, for doing the advocacy for years. I've seen you, most of you, working for years. Anything we can do, please involve us. Again, we have to check how much can we get involved. But if possible, I don't know if we can create a committee, but to achieve some goals. I think we'll be very interested. We are reaching out to a couple of parents, creating a committee to discuss issues or budgeting. But this is something we can get involved. Whatever capacity you guys think we can get involved, my office will be absolutely there for you guys.
Thank you, Council Member Singh. I think first and foremost, the next meeting on April 30th is a budget meeting where they're discussing and voting on $1.1 billion. And as we know that 90% of the contracts are not easily accessible by the public, not saying that they don't exist. I think just your presence would be useful because you all have experience in how budgets are managed and to be asking the right questions. And then secondarily, I'll say this for myself, 3 out of the 9 board members vote for the children. The remaining 5 have consistently voted against releasing this audit. We have an election in November.
All right, next, Sean.
I'm interested in hearing Corporation Council's answers if there is anything to add.
As I sit here, I agree with everything the business administrator said. I'm not aware of anything outside of council's general powers that would apply here in particular. We can look into it, and I'm happy to work with any of you as well as Deputy Mayor for Education, if that'd be helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker, 5.47, Dominic.
Good evening, council members. My name is Dominic Mastrodonato. I am a graduate of St. Peter's University, a parishioner at St. Aidan's Church, and a first semester adjunct instructor at St. Peter's University. My time is about Resolution 26-10 regarding the lot at 128 Glenwood. When I volunteered in the garden, it was called the St. Aidan's Migrant Center Community Garden. It was a very special place. It was a beacon of consolation during the pandemic, coming together to plant, weed, water, prune, harvest, shovel, and so on, all together building community. And the climax of my experience was directing a staged reading of a play titled Seed Folks, which was about a neighborhood of strangers coming together, meeting each other for the first time in Cleveland, Ohio, to start a garden. One night, a man saw a little girl planting something or burying something in a lot, and he thought, what is she doing? And the next day, he went to the lot, uncovered what she buried, and it turned out to be bean seeds. And filled with remorse, he decided to help her to, of course, try to irrigate the ground and somehow plant and harvest a garden in full bloom. That's what they did. More and more people kept coming in, communities of African Americans, immigrants, and descendants of immigrants. And I felt a complete sense of contentment, peace, and presence during the staged reading. I was paying attention entirely, and I was aware of those feelings in real time. After the reading, people came up to me from both the cast and the audience, telling me how much they enjoyed the reading, and people who didn't know each other prior to that day were talking to each other. They were excited. They were starting new friendships. And sorry. The best part of this, or I should say maybe the icing on the cake, was even though the garden closed shortly after the reading, well, the community didn't end there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.48, Arjumand.
Evening, esteemed Council President, Council members, and the residents of our community. My name is Arjuman Juveria. Today, I'm here to address a pressing concern that affects the very essence of our community, the issue of trash, litter, and waste management. This isn't just about aesthetics. It's about our health, our environment, and the pride we take in where we live. The state of our streets. During my recent visits to various neighborhoods, I have made some troubling observations. Our streets are littered with trash, and what's more disheartening is the sight of some businesses sweeping debris onto the roads instead of properly disposing of it. We are missing crucial trash bins in key areas, leaving residents with few options for disposal. Additionally, many homes sit unkempt, their front yards filled with litter that detracts from our community's beauty and safety. A call for responsibility. We must organize that maintaining a clean environment is a shared responsibility, one that falls equally on the shoulders of both the city and its residents. It's a 50-50 partnership. The city must ensure that we have ample waste disposable resources, including strategically placed trash bins and regular collection services. However, we as residents must also step up, take ownership, and be proactive in our actions. As dog owners, we have a vital role to play. It is our responsibility to clean up after our pets. Leaving dog waste unattended endangers public health and reflects poorly on our community. Let's make sure we are setting an example for those around us. educating our community to tackle these challenges effectively. We need an education initiative that raises awareness and encourages action. Here are the several steps we can take together. Community cleanup days, awareness campaign. We can launch campaigns that inform residents about the importance of proper waste disposal and the impact of littering. Knowledge is power, and together we can change behaviors. Business collaboration. I urge our local businesses to adopt a clean business initiative, committing to maintaining cleanliness not only in front of their stores, but also in surrounding areas. Strategic placement of trash bins, clear signages. A collective effort. As residents, I implore you to take personal responsibility when getting out of your cars. Please do not toss coffee cups, snack wrappers, leftover pizza slices, or soft drink bottles onto the ground. Every small action contributes to the larger problem of the litter. Let's take pride in our community and show respect of our shared spaces. In conclusion, it is a time for us to raise on the occasion. A clean community is not just a dream, it is a reality we can create together. Let's work hand in hand.
Thank you, Arjuna.
Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.49, Patricia.
Patricia Waiters. To start my time. For those who, excuse me, Council President, just if I might, is there any way Gilmore could come back or he's gone for the night?
I can text him to see where he is, but we,
I would appreciate
we'll have to start your statement.
Anyway, I want to place this on the record. Why am I here? My mother came from Birmingham, Alabama to Hoboken in 1960. So this is for the people that came in the hall and asked me, why am I in Jersey City and I live in Hoboken and I'm the mayoral candidate from Hoboken. My mother moved in Hoboken in 1960. She later married and moved to the Marion Gardens Housing Authority. 6 kids later and a divorce as a single mother. My mother moved to Curry Woods as a single Black woman struggling, and we knew the severe need of recreational programs. I, along with Tish Jackson, at 12 years old, handled the cheerleaders. We had the bookmobile. We had the free lunches. We had so many things in recreation that don't exist today. Instead, we have bloom raisins, candles burning, deaths, our kids getting shot and killed, ready for a casket or standing on a corner. You guys got to know the seriousness of this recreation position for Thomas Best. Take your dirty politics and put them wherever. Because tonight, we demonstrated a small piece of what shouldn't have to happen. But if me and Miss Webb got a well-organized, like y'all did an election, when y'all wanted our faith and allegiance, if we have to protest, that's an embarrassment on each and every one of you. Now, I marched with you, I think it was you, with the Pakistani flag. I met you and I told you then, I served the whole county of Hudson. It don't matter where I reside now. And I brought my mayor to your march, didn't I? In 0 degrees weather. I want to see, I told you, integrity come back into Hoboken. I have here with me Craig Guy tonight, okay? All of the brochures, everything. I should give all of y'all my support. Miss Whitley, I walked through that door when they first brought you on board. I was the A for Willie Flood. Most of you guys probably wasn't even here or thinking about politics. And it breaks my heart that y'all don't want change. Somebody stop being a coward and stand up. I'm going to wrap it up saying this. I hope we could sit down and talk about this seat with Thomas Best and give him his due diligence. Our kids know him, grew up with him, comfortable with him. Don't worry if he see the money that's missing. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about if he exposed the grants that should have been in recreation. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about what extra money the outgoing mayor took. Don't worry about that. Worry about a new recreation that's going to benefit the good of all of us.
Thank you,
the betterment
Patricia.
of Hoboken. Please, guys, work with me.
Thank you. Our next speaker, 5.50, Jose.
Good evening, Council.
My name is Jose Covarrubias, and I am a new resident to Jersey City as of the last 2 weeks. First of all, I wanted to mention one of the common themes that has been mentioned so far in all the hearings is affordability. And in regards to that, I wanted to speak about one situation that affected not just me, but also affects hundreds of residents every single year. And in this case, I'm talking about ambiguous signage that exists when it comes to no parking signs. As you're aware, we just had a marathon this past weekend, and I, amongst dozens of other people, if not hundreds, had their cars towed or received tickets because of what can only be considered very ambiguous signage. I have a copy here of what the sign said, which could be easily interpreted as no parking Saturday to Sunday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., meaning 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday and 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Sunday. There is similar signage used for construction with word by word the exact same order that could read something like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., meaning working hours. Now, I mention affordability because for the people like myself who got their car towed, this is an expense of almost $300. I was moving my car and my possessions were there. And so in addition to that, I also had some damage to my own property. I know of some other people who got their car towed and also had damage to their own cars. And so the issue that I want to bring up here is that there's this famous phrase that says that the purpose of a system is what it does. Now, this ambiguous signage, who did it benefit? Did it benefit the marathon runners? No, because there were cars still there by the time of the marathon, and it could have affected their own health. Did it benefit the people that wanted to park? No, because they either got a $50 ticket or they were as unlucky as myself and some other people and got their cars towed and had to end up with like $300 out of their own pockets. It did benefit the collection of money from the city. And again, this is the result of a very ambiguous signage, right? So overall, I come here with 3 demands, speaking on behalf of myself and speaking on behalf of all the other people affected. First of all, we demand a full cancellation of all the tickets and a complete refund of all the towing and impound expenses for each of us that were affected specifically by this marathon sign, which I can share. We also demand a formal immediate revision of the language used on temporary municipal signage, because the language must be standardized, unambiguous, and designed to inform the public rather than trap them. And lastly, we demand a formal inquiry so that marathon can be, Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Singh.
So these signs are posted 36 hours in advance before they tow or ticket your car, right? 36 hours before the actual no parking when you should not be parking.
I believe it's 72 hours.
So we give you these signs, no parking signs, we have to post them 36 hours in advance. So this sign was there 2 days prior to the actual no parking started.
As far as I'm aware, in some areas it was not, based on my conversations with other people affected. But the main point is not in regards to the timing of the posting of the signs, but rather the language itself, as it could be very easily interpreted as, rather than a period of 26 hours, as it was enforced, 2 separate periods of 2 hours.
So, Councilwoman, can you have your aide get that picture from him and then
Can we get a
look
copy of
into it?
that? My team, can we get a copy of that?
Peter, do we know if the application for requesting no parking signs said that language, or if the parking authority perhaps interpreted it differently and put it on the sign?
I do not know. I have to get more information from.
All right, and just to Jose, yeah, the council isn't empowered to cancel tickets. But you can present your evidence to municipal court. It's illegal for us to interfere in municipal court proceedings, but we'll look into the parking enforcement issue here.
Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker, 5.51, Mike.
Good evening.
Thank you, Council President Ridley, members of the City Council. Again, for the record, Mike Travestino, here on behalf of the Laborers Union. Specifically, the Laborers Eastern Region is the 20,000 member affiliate of the Laborers International Union of North America. Our members work in every corner of New Jersey for thousands of different employers, and we take pride in not only providing a safe but a well-trained, productive workforce while delivering results for project owners, public and private. That's our profession, it's construction. But our work also includes uniting workers, fighting for fair wages and benefits, ensuring safe conditions without occupational hazards, and protecting our members' rights. We remain committed to strengthening the middle class by advocating for good jobs, labor rights, workplace protections, as I said. And through collective bargaining, activism, workforce training, LIUNA empowers its workers and their families to achieve economic security and professional growth. The region has been on the ground here in Jersey City, organizing construction workers without representation for the last 3 years. We've documented a clear pattern of exploitation and abuse, brought enforcement cases to government entities, fought tirelessly to ensure that workers are made whole. And these efforts have resulted specifically in 15 stop work orders from the New Jersey Department of Labor issued in Jersey City, and over $500,000 in back wages returned to workers, with at least almost another $1 million yet to be paid out. We believe the current redevelopment process as a whole in Jersey City allows worker exploitation to thrive on job sites across the city. But entities like the JCRA hold significant policy influence and can help chart a new course for future development projects with those needed protections I previously spoke on. LIUNA is committed to building meaningful working relationship with the JCRA so that moving forward, the people who are building Jersey City are considered from the very start of this redevelopment process, whether that means including workforce development goals in redevelopment plans or negotiating dignified labor standards into redevelopment agreements. We want to create quality opportunities and construction careers for Jersey City residents. Tonight, the council, after I speak, will consider a resolution put forth by the administration to fill a vacant seat on the JCRA board. On behalf of LIUNA, my leadership team, the Eastern Region itself, we welcome the appointment of Councilman Griffin, who spoke earlier. Look forward to working with you and the entire board to ensure that future development benefits important constituencies, A, Jersey City residents, and B, skilled construction craft workers building this city's skyline. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, 5.52, Dennis.
Dennis.
When you're ready.
Good evening, and my name is Dennis Davino. Thank you for hearing us out tonight. I am here representing our condo board, the All Saints Condominium Association at 305 Whiten Street. Has 25 condo units. About 2 weeks ago, unknown to the board, a crew showed up to remove about a 5 by 10 section of concrete right in front of our main entrance, right in front of our stoop. When we finally inquired to find out what was going on, we found out that someone, apparently, who we don't know who, wanted a tree planted there. Well, the condo board was never advised. We do not want the tree there. It doesn't meet the Jersey City forestry standards. It's constructed within 2 feet of a gas line. The tree would be planted less than 20 feet from adjacent trees. The forestry standards is a minimum of 20 feet. It would be planted directly over a sewer line. It would affect our 129-year-old stoop. The removal of the concrete affected loosened the steps of our stoop. It would also affect views of our security cameras. And we are just going on record to ask the board not to have this tree planted. We didn't ask for it. We would like the concrete put back the way it was at the same color, the same pattern and the same finish. And the board should really look at those standards because I don't think anyone should just be able to call and all of a sudden a crew shows up and starts cutting concrete and installing trees. If it's a condo building, I would suspect that the board should be the only ones allowed to make a request like that. My second issue is really about Barry Lane. It's basically my neighborhood. My office is right around the corner. And there are at least a half a dozen junk cars that have been there for over a year. The street can't be cleaned, and these cars do not ever get towed. They don't get ticketed. And I'm just wondering why. I mean, why essentially is this Barry Lane allowed to be basically a junkyard? The last issue is I just wanted to point out that, yes, we had a really rough winter this year. And I know that the street sweeper could not get and clean the streets the way our streets are normally kept. Well, if we have another winter like this, I ask the board to please maybe put boots on the ground because it's embarrassing to see how filthy the streets were in the months where the snow was on the ground and before the street sweeper got in. It was absolutely disgraceful. And I'm just wondering how I follow up with these issues.
Reach out to me, Dennis.
All right.
Yeah. Rolando over here.
So Peter,
thank you.
The condo association did reach out to my office. They did receive a response from the Office of Sustainability in regards to the work that was done with the tree. I don't believe that they are satisfied with that response. So we did ask Director Kaplan to reach out to them to review the process and to hear their concerns. So if you could just follow up to make sure that he makes contact with the residents over there, that would be helpful.
Will we be able to get our concrete replaced? That they, not only they removed, while they
Director
were
Kaplan
removing
will-
it, they loosened.
Director Kaplan will reach out to you and have those discussions.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. I think we had the same question. Can you repeat the address?
The address 305 Whiten Street. I mean, we maintain our own building. We spent a lot of money to maintain it. We have 5 trees that were planted there when the building was originally approved. They have 5x5 tree pits around them. They're mature trees at this
The
point.
director will contact you and he'll talk to you offline.
This tree pit doesn't work. So thank you.
Just a request for the administration, if that tree is deemed not to go into that location, we'll take it in Ward C. I'm serious, we'll take the tree. We have tree pits that we need filling.
Okay, our next speaker, 5.53, Jocelyn. Not here. 5.54, Eve. Didn't see her. 5.55, George.
Good evening, Council. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak. And I'm here in support of you all passing Resolution 26-210, 128 Glenwood, The Garden. I am a resident of Jersey City for 37 years now. I'm married into a family on Glenwood Avenue that next year, well, actually, they're almost 70 years. The Edwards family, 122 Glenwood. My mother-in-law, India Edwards, lived there, and she was 105 when she passed just 2 years ago. And we have seen the garden grow as it should to service the neighborhood, not just our neighborhood, but, you know, the migrant community of St. Peter's. But we just want to see it return to its state that it should be. You know, we have too many developers in this city who are running roughshod over neighborhoods, not taking into any consideration of what was there in the first place, you know, and we're thankful that this opportunity has come up for the council to do the right thing in helping preserve open space in Jersey City and providing an area where people can help their community, grow vegetables and fruits and so on, to help themselves as well as those in the surrounding area. We just thank you for the opportunity, which you've done. You know, you've done your due diligence. You know, we had previous administrations that were very, very pro developers, you know, and they've just done too much damage in keeping open space from being retained in the city. We need to keep retaining open green space so they can continue to serve communities and help provide oxygen, because the trees in the area provide oxygen, which we know the cars around with their carbon dioxide and so on, and monoxide, just ruin everything. So I just want to thank you again for allowing me the opportunity to implore you to pass this resolution. And one other thing that I'd like to talk about with these developers, I don't know if it's something that you all can look into or if it's something that planning and the planning and zoning have to look into. But the developers, you know, they get so many tax abatements and so much money and so many incentives. I think that there should be some sort of fund that they have to contribute to, because they tear up our streets. You ride in any street, the streets are terrible. There should be a fund that they contribute to help resurface these streets in Jersey City the way they should be. And thank you for your time.
Our next speaker.
I'm sorry, just to Corp Counsel and BA, are there any laws that require developers or regulations that require developers to resurface the roads, at least in front of their development, particularly some of these, like if anyone's driven down Journal Square with the developments happen over there, it's like the moon, like craters over in some of those streets.
We acknowledge that, Councilman, and it has been an issue that we've been working with the division to find a better solution to. Currently, there are certain development agreements and community givebacks that require them to get their approvals. They have to pave around their, building or development. The issue usually is that those requirements usually are tied to the CO, so they come at the end of the project. So generally speaking, the traffic engineering and the planning department has really been limited to be able to force them during the course of the project to pave or repave. It's just at the end of the project that they are forced to repave everything, which everyone here knows. Unfortunately, projects can last multiple years. So the developments are not always as responsive to making sure the roads are drivable and in good condition during that time frame. That usually falls to the city. So we're working with the language in the planning department to see if there's a way to increase that responsibility onto the developer. And if not, how the city can respond to that to make sure that for those years that are under development, we are not letting residents drive on poorly constructed roads.
So it sounds like there's some agreement that when they get their permits and so forth to have to resurface those roads or after their project is done. And are we, do we have a look back period where we can hold someone accountable if they're not doing that?
I don't know if there's a look back period. I'll have to check on that. I know that they've been actively enforcing it for all new development agreements. I believe this started maybe a year ago, so there may be some projects that were not covered by it, but I can get more details for you from the planning division about what the specific agreements entail.
Okay, thank you.
I would just like to point out that my office is actually working on something like that. We looked into legislation, and Bayonne Traffic and Engineering has an escrow account that these developers pay into. And if they don't repair the streets, the money from the escrow account is used. So that's something that, I would hope to get on the books.
So we do something similar to that. I can't confirm indefinitely we do it for all development projects, but I know especially for PSC&G, MUA, a lot of the access that contractors need for the streets when they do gas, plumbing, electrical, we do have an escrow agreement that they have to pull out and basically commit to, where if it's not completely repaved or filled to our satisfaction, we can use that money to potentially repair it ourselves and then count against the escrow. That involves, we usually send out a notice to them, giving them, I think it's a 30-day time frame to remediate it themselves. If they don't remediate it, then we would hold the escrow and pay someone ourselves to do it.
Okay. All right, our next speaker, 5.56, Dermot.
Hi, I'm here. Thank you for providing me with the time to speak tonight. Before I start, I just want to really acknowledge what Arjuman said earlier on. The trash situation is out of control here, and it has been for a very long time. I do acknowledge that we all need to do our part, but we do also need to educate residents, business owners, and the community at large that they have a role to play in managing the trash, as does the city. The city needs to do better. But nonetheless, I'm here to speak, to request your approval or your support on the resolution for the community garden at 128 Glenwood Avenue. I moved to that neighborhood about 6 years ago in the middle of COVID. And one of my first observations was that that community garden was in use all the time. It was a green space that people took pride in and planted their seeds, grew, children played in there with their parents or minders. It was used often and frequently. It was very sad to see it fenced off and go into developers' hands. The same developer has had projects on the block already, and the block is a large scale of development going on currently, and the street is tore up because of it. Nonetheless, the garden was a community resource, and I would also point out, and I don't think I need to point it out to some of the folks that live in the neighborhood and the councillors from the area, there is very little green space in that neighborhood at all. Any tiny piece of green space we can keep, we should. You can walk for quite some distance in time to find other green space in the area. There's a tremendous amount of young families in the area. There are very high density buildings in the area that house people from all walks of life, all cultures, all ethnicities. They all use that garden. It was a tremendous community resource, and I would really push you to do the right thing for the green space that we badly need across the city. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.57, Jeff.
Hi, my name is Jeff Fortsheimer. I live in Ward E. I wanted to actually thank you all for your service, and just sitting here in the back, I've heard the tremendous range of issues that have come up and the passion that goes with it and the heartfelt expression of those. And I think you're doing a very important job, and I appreciate it. I also think you guys gentleman and lady did a very good job with the with the ward financial updates and giving, I think, a much needed bit of sunshine into the city's previously murky financials, I would say. And as a follow-up to that, we're 3 months into the fiscal year. So if I owned a share of stock in a company, after 3 months, they tell me how they're doing. And I think Jersey City, not in a, don't hire an outside accountant or anything, but in a simple way, some sort of pro forma or informal financial statement, just say, here's the budget, here's how we're doing, and here's last year as a comparison. Pretty simple, done in every business everyone is employed in, and it's needed. It's needed because has that financial hole that's talked about 260 million, is it 300 now, or is it 200? These things tend to grow, unfortunately, not shrink a whole lot. And I'd like to know that. And also, I think, given the, let's kindly say, financial mismanagement of the past, I think it holds city government a little more accountable to its residents if they have to report on a regular basis as to the things that's going on. And I will continue to advocate for this point. And thank you very much.
Sean, if I could get some remarks. Thank you, Mr. Forchheimer. I just wanted to say that the 2025 annual financial statement will be coming out soon. Is that correct, Peter?
Yeah, so the intent is June. We're actively going through a lot of conversation negotiation with the administrative side, so we're committed to that date, and that's the intent.
Thank you. So that will show, the last year of the previous administration. So you'll get kind of a benchmark to see how we got to where we are. And then in terms of what's been spent, what's been budgeted in this year. That's something that I have been talking to the administration about. I've been having productive conversations with our CFO, and I know that he is preparing documentation that I don't want to get out ahead of my skis, but that I think the administration does want to put out publicly to show if we've budgeted X and spent Y, that should be something that should be ready for the public. So something that the council is working on with the administration. And, we're up here voting to spend your money. So that's why, we're having these conversations with the administration. So thank you.
Okay, our next speaker, 5.58, Shihab. Not here. 5.59, Lorenzo.
Good evening, council members. I'm not sure if I was here earlier this year. It's been a long year so far. But I want to thank you all for being elected, and the expectations are high. And the first thing I want to say is I'm speaking on my own behalf, not as a board member, not as a representative of the Board of Education, and not as a representative of any individual board members. I'm a taxpayer and a resident here. First and foremost, I have to make a plea to please get these streets together. I feel like I'm in the Flintstones driving, right? And we really need to address these potholes, seriously. And I don't know what the accountability is. I heard that some of the mentions about putting things in escrow, but some of these developers are not doing their job. They're tearing stuff up and they're putting it back right. I also want to say this, Tommy Best, I've seen that gentleman around the community. I've lived here all my life. I've seen around the community, never heard anything negative about the man, always out there with the kids doing great things. I heard some of this backstory stuff. The only thing I can say to that is I'm just asking you guys to give this man an opportunity. I think he deserves an opportunity. He deserves an opportunity. Your budget, when will we see it? When will it be finalized and voted on? And are you, part two, are you considering, because it doesn't seem like the calendar year budget is working out, are you looking at maybe going back to July to June? If you can give an answer on that. And I'm here to help. If you look back at what I helped in another capacity, and I could speak to that previously, and even though I'm in that capacity, but I've done a lot of good in that capacity in terms of fiscal. And I've offered my help. No charge. I'm just offering to help. Last thing I want to say is I know most of you, and I've met some of you last year, campaigning and all this stuff. I'm just asking you to do one thing. Whatever you do, do the right thing.
Thank you.
Lorenzo. If I may, thank you, Lorenzo. That was. I'm not saying we should do it. We should explore. I know all options are on the table, and just ask the business administrator to take it back with Director of Finance. The idea of changing our fiscal cycle, it was done previously by Mayor Healy, and that's how we ended up in the calendar year. Previously, it was a different cycle. I forget it might have been July to June at that point. And it was a similar situation, which was a serious budget crisis and an economic downturn in the country, and he shifted it. Some of it is just accounting magic. I'm not an accountant, so I don't know how that works, but they figured out a way to do that to be able to make the numbers work a little bit better and lessen the impact on Jersey City residents in terms of that deficit. So if that's not on the table, I'd encourage folks to look at it. It's an option, and I think thank you, Lorenzo, for bringing that up. And then secondly, I'm reminded that I was at last night's, myself and Councilwoman Little were at the Board of Education's town hall on the budget, and just want to announce that and share, because it's I learned last night that it's not a 17% tax increase. That's staring taxpayers down. That in fact, it's just a 2% tax increase. I say just, it's a 2% tax increase, which is what's allowable for the school board. And there is an increase in the levy for Jersey City Public Schools. And the levy being not how much is being levied in an increase on people, but in terms of the amount of revenue that the Jersey Public Schools is collecting. And it's largely attributable to the fact that we have all this development, and ratables went up by $1 billion from last year to this year. And so with those larger ratables, they've been able to increase the tax revenue that they're collecting. So kudos to the Jersey City Public Schools for maintaining a 2% increase. And I hope we can do the same here in Jersey City. I'm done.
Maureen.
Okay, our next speaker, 5.60, Maureen.
Maureen Nally here. Sorry.
Whoops.
Too loud. I've signed, I can't talk. Do I start yet?
Good.
All right. Yeah. I've signed up a few times in the past couple of months to speak. I will not be speaking about those reasons I signed up in the past tonight. I'm here for touch upon a few other things. What I really need to talk about is far more serious and juicier than what is we probably all need to sit down to talk about. Anyway, tonight, I first want to say thank you to this constituents of Jersey City. I've served as a commissioner on the MUA board for blank years. I'm saying blank because there's a discrepancy in when I began, so I'm not too sure that I'm expired, but at the same time, I was grateful for the time that I spent doing that. I see that there are changes, and the theme of tonight seems to be where everybody's replacement is coming from, and two that I know of that would be replacing two of the three on the MUA board are out-of-towners, and I have a little, I just want you to think about that, like what kind of skin does an out-of-towner have in the game when it comes to rate increases and stuff like that. Additionally, Tommy Best, I happen to know him from the sports world. He might be the best man for the job. I know nothing about the other guy. But again, a local is always good because our kids, what do they have to grow up and aspire to be if they're, they're a basketball player as a kid and maybe one day they want that big job? Like, we just need to start thinking. And I think this is a great council. I appreciate a lot of your back and forth. You're very engaging, but please know the facts before you press yes or no. And I'm not questioning you. There's people out here that you can talk to about like who's who in the zoo, because we're in the zoo. Like a lot of people here and who are not here know what's going on out there on the streets. And I mean that in a good way. The other thing about Glenwood Avenue and the community garden, this year I'm in Ward B. I was Ward C, depending on who's who in the zoo. We're changing back and forth, but we have no green space except for that big cemetery on West Side Avenue. And while that is a very quiet green space, I think that the Migrant Community Garden could do well with a lot of growth. I'm playing off of words here, but there's a lot that we can do with that place, that space. And I do hope that you'll vote in favor of that as well. The McKinley Square group, they've done a great job, Sharon, everybody, but that really is a nice little corner, not really a corner spot. It's in the middle of the block, but we need it. We need a gathering place, just to do good. So for everybody, let us do good. Know what you're doing. Do some research. The MUA, like two of those guys don't live here. How do they How could they vote on a rate increase for our operations when they're not paying the bill? Like, somebody's got to have skin in the game. So make it make sense. I'm always here. I need to speak to all of you because I've been whatever, but yeah, good timing.
you.
We'll talk about this again.
Hey, Maureen, first, I just really want to thank you, for serving on the board. I've been to several meetings.
You're quick.
appreciate, your representation of the people. Just a quick question. So you said 2 of the 3 people that's exiting, didn't live in Jersey City?
I'm trying to say that 2 of the people whose names are up to be replacing do not live in Jersey City. No, I know that they don't. 2 of them do not. And
all the current board members now live in Jersey City?
that's true. Correct.
Okay.
Yes, it only well, yeah, I can't speak to the newly appointed director of the yeah, I'm not going to talk about that.
All right.
You know, okay. Right.
Thank you.
All right, our next speaker, 5.61, Danny.
Hello, Council. Thank you and good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Danny Castillo. So I've probably, I was born in University Hospital in Newark, but I've lived in Jersey City all my life. Throughout the years of being here, I've grown from a child to a grown adult. And throughout that time, a lot of things have changed. A lot of people here today have said things that obviously gravitate towards more of like a community standard, but I also want to just advocate that like there should be more things that go on for people who don't follow the rules. And when I say that, I mean like the trash, the dog pickup. Like I lived in downtown all my life. It's becoming a little bit ridiculous that a lot of people are building these buildings. The dog parks are not big enough. There's not enough incentive to stop this growth of uncleanliness. We have a lot of people that come to our city. We have the World Cup coming. We have all these things that are making our city more visible to the outside world, right? And one big thing that I'm want to piggyback off of Jose earlier, and that's why I was standing up with him, was the whole events happening in Jersey City and Jersey City residents not knowing kind of until last minute what the protocol will be, especially like the signage itself. For the verbiage itself, it's kind of confusing for somebody who comes from like another city, looking at street signs and then seeing that no parking sign, not knowing exactly what to understand from that. There's no hotline, there's no one to call, there's no assistance to kind of give people that right information. A lot of the things that I see now are based on social media. I kind of find that a little bit ridiculous to give our information through social media, especially since there's a lot of apartment buildings around the areas that got closed off, which house more than 50 families, at least each building, right? So it's kind of crazy how like it's just becoming more common for things like that to happen and it to be a little bit abrupt. So I just wanted to say, I think there should be a little bit more emphasis on showing people where there no parking should be when there are events happening. There should be a committee or some people that would give us the information that we need prior and actually like lay it out to us instead of just saying it. And then lastly, I would just say, I love this city. The city is everything to me. I would come back to it any time of day. I lived in Philly for a couple of years, but I came back. And I hope that the council and the future representatives that are actually holding themselves accountable will continue to reinforce and make our city better. And not just for people who develop and make money here, but people who want to come here and visit and start families.
Thank you.
Council President, can I say something?
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
Do you know about Alert JC? Alert JC?
No.
Please sign up for that. Any event happening, any incident happening, big thing you should know, you'll get the alert. So please sign up for that. So this event was sent out to people who have signed up for Alert JC.
Yeah, I was told by the recipient at the court that there was like a hotline, I mean, not a hotline, but a text message service that gives people alerts based on like how when things are going to close up.
Yeah.
I feel like we should really work on trying to get everybody to get on that. That way we can like not have any reasons to act like no one knows what's going on. Because like I said, I just moved back here. I moved back here last year, and I still kind of in a lull about where to look for information.
I believe it's
Councilwoman, can we make
JC
sure-
alerts that you can sign up for. I think it's on the website, if I'm not mistaken.
Councilwoman, can we make sure that he gets the information for JC Alert and how to sign up?
Can sign you up. Yeah.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Okay. All right, next speaker, 5.62, Erica. Okay. Next speaker, 5.63, Michael. Michael S. Not here, okay. Next speaker, 5.64, Sean. Like that first name.
It's not better than Michael.
Maybe it's a tie. Anyway, okay, he's not here either, right? All right. This Sean is though. 5.65, Jessica? No. 5.66, Christian? And last but not least, 5.67, Jim?
Nope. No.
Jim's
Oh, wait, yeah.
Jim Nelson is there.
Jim is here.
Thank you and happy Earth Day.
Happy Earth Day.
And I appreciate that Charlene Burke and others have already made the connections between several of the agenda items on open space and particular properties and Earth Day. We know the relationship between human and environmental health. And so, yes, I had the privilege a couple weeks ago of participating in an environmental justice bus tour organized by JC Health and also Rutgers. And what we learned, and we need to keep on paying attention to how those connections between our civic infrastructure and our human infrastructure matter for the human health, for the whole community, for the whole child. And so I also want to give a shout out to appreciation as a leader within Jersey City Together to 26-023. Thank you for including JC Together, another leader, not myself, as a member of the Bayfront Community Advisory Board. Bayfront is one of those fine examples of the intersection of environmental and human health, affordability, and sustainability. So thank you for that. I also want to thank Councilman Navarro and Little for attending the school board community outreach town hall last evening. And for others who might have watched or will be interested in looking back at that Facebook stream. And there's a very positive tone. And as I would say to school board and to you, help keep reminding us how to show the math, demystify the budgeting process, the programs, the people element. We have so much good going on in our school district, in our community, at the children, at the school, the teacher level, and we need to make sure that the administrative transparency flows through that. So the more conversation, the better. You received invitations, I'll speak now as a Jersey City Together person, to our public action next Monday evening with Mayor Solomon. And it's Monday evening at 7 o'clock at Christ the King Catholic Church, starting sharp at 7 o'clock. It's not a rally, it's not a forum. It is a public action where we will hear the commitments to some of the agenda. It's very familiar material to you, but I just want to underscore that that connects back to what my colleagues, Danielle, Ajali, and Jessica were speaking to on the special education audit. Back in March 2019, JC Together had a public action on acting Superintendent Walker and School Board President Thomas. And one of the three asks was about calling for a comprehensive special education audit. Another one was to disclose the schedule for fixing the water. Water, we proved that there had to be a collaboration between the community, the city, and the school district because the children mattered. Same thing with special education. It's a community-wide concern. So let's explore ways to bring you in.
Thank you. Okay. That will conclude our public speaking portion of the meeting. You can't speak unless you signed up. Sorry, Mike. Nope, you're not on the list.
You have to be here at the time that you're called, unfortunately.
Okay. Any questions or comments on petitions and communications 6.1 through 6.29?
I can get a copy of 6.16.
I'll get that copy to you tonight after the meeting. You all got copies of the other petitions and communications that you requested, correct?
Yes, thank you, Sean.
Thank you. Okay, any questions or comments on Office Communications 7.1?
I'd also request a copy of 7.1.
Any questions or comments on Report of Directors 8.1 through 8.25? Hearing none, right on to our claims and addendum number 1. Okay, council members, taking a vote on claims and addendum number 1. Councilperson Brooks.
Before I vote, I'm sorry, did I miss anything from BA or finance about the refund from the county?
So we did send something over. Let me pull it up real quick.
Refund to the county, rather.
We sent an email. If you give me 1 second, I can pull up for you, Councilman.
I'll take a look. Okay. For those watching at home, we are voting to approve $131.8 million in spending. I vote aye.
Councilperson Zupa.
Aye.
Councilperson Efros.
I vote aye, just noting there's 5 million plus in library funds. We've requested that money, and looks like our library leadership is going to be preparing that for us. So just stay tuned for that breakdown. But unlike the breakdown of other claims, there's no itemization within the library money. So that's why we requested it, and looking forward to getting to see that. But vote aye.
Councilperson Little. Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson Singh.
Aye.
Councilperson Griffin.
Aye.
Councilperson Navarro.
Aye.
And Council President Ridley.
Aye.
Claims and addendum number 1 are approved unanimously 9-0. I believe our business administrator would like to address the council.
Councilman Brooke, I just put up the email. It is a refund for the county service charge for pilot programs. So for any pilots, per state law, they're entitled to a percentage of that. It was the fund or the refunding of the money that would be owed for the pilots.
Thank you.
All right, council members, we're going to be taking a vote on resolutions items 10.1 through 10.14. Again, that's 10.1 through 10.14 with the exception of 10.10 and 10.11, which were approved earlier. Councilperson Brooks.
I vote aye on all.
Councilperson Zupa.
I didn't get all the information I requested from 10.9, so I'm going to vote no on that. Vote no on 10.12, aye on the rest.
0.9 and 10.12, no, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Councilperson Efros.
I vote no on 10.12. I just want to briefly share, I spoke with John Allen. I have no doubt that he would perform his duties with integrity, but I understand that Mr. Allen attended a holiday party of the company HRH after the closure of many services in the fall, winter. As a personal guest of an employee involved in Christ Hospital of the closure there. Again, no ill will toward Mr. Allen. We spoke on the phone earlier today. Appreciate his commitment to public service, but I have to vote no out of sensitivity to the egregious actions of HRH and its agents, and to just demonstrate kind of no exceptions approach. On the rest, I will vote aye, but I would like to say on 10.9, we really need to tighten this up going forward so that we do not have claims being submitted to us for services that are being rendered outside of contract periods. Northwest Financial Group or NW Financial Group These claims are for services rendered outside of approved contract period. So we have obligation, I think, to vote yes to avoid exposure to legal risk here. But just want to make sure administration, I appreciate the commitment to tightening this kind of stuff up so it doesn't happen again. So with that, just to clarify, Sean, aye on all with the exception of 1012, I vote no.
Got it. Thank you. Councilperson Little.
I want to echo Councilman Efforts's comments on the need to tighten up the process so we are not having people performing work outside of contracts. I received campaign contributions for a fundraiser that I held from both John Allen and Keshav Podar. So although I feel like they are both highly qualified and intelligent individuals and would do a great job, I think I need to recuse myself for those two. And I on the rest.
So you're recusing yourself or you're abstaining?
Defer to whatever Corporation Council thinks is most appropriate.
Typically, recusal means you entirely remove yourself from the deliberative process. Given that you have been involved in the deliberative process, I would recommend that you abstain at this point.
Okay, thank you. Abstain.
Thank you, Corp Counsel. So that's you're abstaining on 10.12 and 10.14, correct?
Yes, and again, I have full confidence that they would do a good job. But, you know, I want to avoid any potential conflicts or suggestions of pay to play.
Yep, I was just confirming. Thank you. Councilperson Gilmore.
If you can, just as it relates to
Is your mic on?
testing, yes.
There you go.
Excuse me. Peter, if you can, just as it relates to the MUA appointments, can you just share with the public the residency requirements as it relates to these appointments? And why do they differ? If they differ, then why from the other boards like planning, zoning, et cetera?
So they are independent boards, so they do not have the same residency requirements as other, boards like planning or zoning would typically have. The bylaws and guidance for those boards are, drafted, meaning planning and zoning are drafted by the council directly. The bylaws, I think, are approved by the independent board, for zoning and planning and their board members. Historically, resident or people who are not been residents of the city have been on these boards. It has been the practice of previous administrations, the previous administration to this one and previous administrations going back a lot farther that have appointed members there. These are generally considered very professional boards. They have specific purposes. The JCRA obviously is involved in a lot of development. The MUA is involved in a lot of utilities and professional service regarding water rates, construction projects, et cetera. So they generally require a individual who understands those concepts and has some kind of background on those concepts. The administration always is committed to putting the best professionals on these boards to ensure they're performing the best they can for the residents of your city, especially with boards that, control rates and, monetary effects of the residents here. So, the intent is really to have the best and most qualified people on those boards with professional expertise, professional, licenses or experience in these different areas that can help to those boards.
Okay, and can you either confirm or deny as it relates to the current board members that they are all in fact Jersey City residents as it relates to the current board makeup?
With it relates to the MUA, I can't state unequivocally, I don't know all the residences, so I wouldn't want to put that on the record.
Well, can you say within, because you've been here for what, can you say within the last 5 or 6 years, have there been anyone appointed to the MUA that did not reside in Jersey City? If you can remember, I don't want to.
I can't say definitively if that has happened. Like I said, I know in the past they have.
Historically, you can say that.
Correct. Historically, both the JCRA and MUA have had members that are not residents of Jersey City.
And those are autonomous agencies, for the record.
Correct. They are autonomous independent agencies. The city and the mayor do have appointment authority over the boards, but they do not have direct operational control over those boards, the functions that they provide, the bylaws that they utilize, all those kind of things.
Okay, thank you, Pete. I appreciate that. So in light of all of that, I'll vote aye on all of them, except for 10.9. The issue with 10.9 for me is, I mean, I get legal's perspective as it relates to the potential of this being more than litigating this case being upwards of whatever amount that exceed the 57,000. Just from a conscious perspective, I just can't vote for paying someone who weren't under contract to perform said duty. So I vote aye on all but 10.9. I vote no.
Okay, Councilperson Singh.
I vote aye on all, just 10, 12, I abstain.
Okay, Councilperson Griffin.
When it comes to 10.9, I'm going to abstain and vote aye on all.
10.9 abstaining, aye on the rest. Correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Councilperson Navarro.
Just on 10.4 through 10.8, I'm voting aye, but I did request certain information and got some of it, but it's still not complete. Just I appreciate that the efforts there, but it's incomplete at this point still. So I'll follow up with you later.
Okay, it would be helpful to understand which portions are incomplete because we updated all of the resolutions with the links to all of the statutes. So you and the public should all have access to it. But if there's outstanding requests, let us know.
Okay.
I believe they're referring probably to the financial components and the expenditures, which we have not provided yet because we're still.
Tim?
I believe your request is regarding the expenses and the expenditures for the finances of those riders or the accounts they represent. We haven't provided those yet. We're working to get them to you. It just takes a little bit of time to compile.
I'm actually, and that too, but it was the language in the law. Got the NJSA 40 or something like that. But the 52s and things like that were not part of the information that I received. I don't know. I'll check with my office again just to make sure. But
Okay,
Work it
to be clear, what we did is we updated the resolutions themselves. So there should be live links in every resolution. Every
Okay.
time that there's a citation, it will link to the text of the law itself. So the public, everyone should have access to that now, and we will
Got it.
do that moving forward with every time there's a dedicated.
So I got
writer.
confused because something came from the BA's office with also some information and.
No problem.
So I
And
was
if there's
looking at
anything
that.
else outstanding, we'll run it down. Thanks.
And then I just want to just acknowledge the finance office on 10.1. Great to see some revenues clawed back for Jersey City, even if it's possibly my check that is in that pile.
Again, you should have cast that check.
Can't get it back.
And on 10.9, I'm voting no. And that's consistent with what I've done on these claims from day one. So I'm going to vote no on 10.9 and aye on all the rest.
Thank you. And Council President Ridley.
I vote aye on all, but for the administration, if we could update the appointment of John Allen, 1012, and the appointment of Chris Gadsden, 1013, with their proper cities of residency, because right now in the resolution, it says that they are from Jersey City. And we got some phone calls about that. So we don't want to appear that we are attempting to cover something up. So we want to make sure, I realize you probably just use the same template for everyone and change the name, but we want to make sure that those are clear.
I'm going to take responsibility for that, Council President. I did those resolutions for the mayor's office, and it's a lot of cut and paste.
Right.
So it's my apologies. I'll make sure I update them tonight.
Thank you.
No problem.
Takes a true gentleman to jump on that hand grenade for me. Thank you, Sean.
Just saying. All right. To recap, items 10.1 through 10.8 are approved unanimously 9-0. 10.9 is, just give me a moment. Five, 3, 1. 10.9 is approved 5-3-1, with council members Zupa, Gilmore, and Lavarro voting no, and councilperson Griffin abstaining. 10.10 and 11 are approved 9-0. 10.12 is approved 5-2-2, with council members Zupa and Efros voting no, and council members Little and Singh abstaining. Item 10.13 is approved 9-0. Sorry for the recap. And item 10.14 is approved 8-0-1, with councilperson Little abstaining. All right. On to items 10.15 through 10.26. Again, that's 10.15 through 10.26. Councilperson Brooks.
Real quick.
Oh, I'm sorry. The BA would like to address.
It's 2 mistakes in one night, Sean. What's going on? I just want to clarify for 1021, resolution 26-210, this regarding 128 Glenwood Avenue. We've been having very consistent conversations with the property owners just to make sure we're on board with everything. So I want to put some facts on the record just to make sure before you vote, you have the latest details. Unequivocally, I want to first state that the intent of the city is not to use eminent.
Peter, just slow down a little bit. Now you're making a mistake.
I apologize. Unequivocally, I want to put on the record that we are not intending to use eminent domain for the property. We want to clear that up because that was out there in the world. Additionally, the city is, committed to purchasing the property. The total price would be $1.15 million. The intent of this resolution is to find funding for that. In this case, dollars from the county's open space trust, which will offset what the city would have to pay to purchase the property. Obviously, more money we get from grants or other expenditures reduces the cost the city would have to put forward. However, we are committing to purchasing the property. We're on a very short time frame here, which is why we're pushing to have the grant, recognized by the county and sent to the county so we can request those dollars. We likely will have to spend some of our own capital dollars on it, regardless if this grant's approved or if there's any other funding out there for this project, which we will continue to pursue as well. The money is in the capital budget for the city, though, so we do have the funds to make that purchase, regardless whether or not this grant comes through or any other grants come through the city. So we believe it's a very important project for the city. We think this is a very easy win for the city. It's a very important project in an area that's underserved for parks. So I think it's a great product to take the first step of and ask the county to contribute to it so we can potentially reduce the burden on the city. And then we're going to pursue other grants to see if we can minimize the cost. But we are willing to pay anything or any additional cost if we're not met, fully with grants to purchase this property.
And BA, just to be clear, before we make any additional payments or we purchase any property, that will come back before the council.
So before we'd have to purchase the property, because it's a land and the council has to approve all sales and purchases of land, it would come back before the council.
Okay. Tonight, we are just voting to pursue the grant funding from the county.
So this is an open space grant the county provides. It's kind of looked like as a match, but it's not a true match, meaning whatever money they put in, we do not have to match it directly. It's just we have to commit to completing the project. In this case, it's an acquisition. So the county could provide up to, I think, $1.5 million. However, it's based on the appraisal of the property. So whatever the appraisal is, they would potentially match that money or give us that money. And then if we need any remaining money to complete the project, it would be on us to fulfill that obligation, either through grants or through our own capital funding.
So before we conclude that, so I went over this at caucus, but I just want to reiterate for the record. So with the approval of this resolution, we're not approving city funds. While that may be contemplated and may be reviewed if this should be awarded, that's not part of this particular vote.
Yes, this specific resolution does not commit any dollar amounts to purchasing it. However, again, I will state on the record that the city is committed to purchasing it. Obviously, we need the council's approval. We need to find funding for it, whether it be capital dollars or other grants, but that is our intent, and we will pursue every avenue to minimize the cost to the residents and to the capital funds for the city.
But to be clear, the commitment to purchasing it is not what we are voting on tonight. And
Yes,
not-
once again, you're not voting on a commitment to purchase it. I'm saying from the city's perspective that we want to do that. This resolution, though, is only to pursue the money from the grant.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Okay. I'll go nice and slow for Tracy because I respect Tracy. On items 10.15 through 10.26, Councilperson Brooks.
Before I vote, I just want to say congratulations to my colleagues who are going to be appointed to various boards, and I look forward to serving on the Bayfront Advisory Board. It's a really exciting project for our city. It may take many, many years to come to complete fruition, but I did get a presentation from the JCRA about phase one, and I'm very excited to be part of that advisory board. On 10.21, I want to thank the community advocates, including but not limited to the McGinley Square Community Board. They were dogged in their advocacy to myself and Councilman Zupa and to the administration. So really appreciate that. And, I don't know if using government money to buy land counts as doing a socialism, but, I'm gonna say it does. So I vote aye on all.
Thank you, Councilperson Zupa.
So I also congratulate my colleagues who are going to be serving on the various boards. It's been a pleasure serving the last 100 days with you already. You're going to do a great job. I want to thank our friends in McGinley Square, Glenwood, and to Joel. This particular side of Glenwood is in Ward C, not Ward B. No, kidding. I was at that first meeting way back when with the developer presented and said, well, this is as of right and we have to be here. We've come a long way from the Apple Tree House meeting to today, years ago, to have much needed green space and take that next important step to have a garden, return to a public benefit for Ward C. And just so the residents are clear, when we talk capital dollars, this is not money that's raising taxes for. It's not money coming out of our operations budget. A former mayor, first name Steve, last name something else, once told me we have more capital dollars being expended in Ward C than anywhere else in Jersey City. But in the past, we haven't seen that benefit our residents who are being pushed out. So to have this green space there and our capital money going into an acquisition is very important. I want to thank Commissioner Bill O'Day for his advocacy and also the county for their support. And obviously, the more money of that grant, the better. And we appreciate it. I vote aye on all from 15 to 26.
Thank you. Councilperson Deferrals.
I vote aye on all, and on 1021, just reiterate appreciation for the advocates who have been coming out here, for council colleagues, making sure this got pushed through, and the administration for pushing this through. Dominic, good to see a fellow St. Peter's adjunct here tonight. But yes, vote aye on all, and congrats to my council colleagues on appointments.
Thank you, Councilperson Little.
Congratulations to my colleagues on their appointments. On 10.21, I appreciate the advocates, and I hope that we can work to fund as much of this through grant funding as possible, given the state of our city's finances, of course, but I vote aye on all.
Thank you, Councilperson Gilmore.
Yeah, I have one question for legal. As it relates to the appointments, all of these people are my coworkers. Should I be abstaining from? I just want to make sure. In particular, 17.
Who's 17? Dude,
I vote aye, Sean.
He didn't even wait for your explanation, Corporation Counsel, just so you know.
Look.
So now she gives answers with the eyes.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
These positions are required to be filled by council members, so I don't think there's any way around that one.
Yeah.
But for the future, if you think you might have a conflict of interest, better to talk to me before you state it on the record and then vote.
Okay.
I was just proud the proper use of the abstention was going to be focused on today.
Oh, boy. So it's an aye on all, Councilperson Gilmore, with all of that being said?
Yes.
Councilperson Singh.
So I say aye on all, but I do have a statement for 2019. The warning notice required by state law in New Jersey is outdated and does not reflect the last decade of scientific study related to alcohol consumption. Less than 30% Americans know that frequent alcohol use increase their risk of cancer and dementia, and updating this warning label is significant first step towards getting the word out. So I thank you, Senator McKnight, for bringing this bill forward, and Rochelle Hoffman, thank you so much for the work and bringing it to our attention. Thank you again, and I'm happy to support this. In 2019, I want to say thank you so much for all the work you guys do for community. Community garden means bringing the community together through a garden. So thank you for doing it. And lastly, I want to congratulate everyone to be on the board. Let's do a good job there. And Frank, you have to do a better job this time. Thank you.
Oh,
Shots fired. Anyway,
you say.
Councilperson Griffin.
I would like to congratulate all my colleagues for their appointments. I would also like to thank them for having the faith in me with their vote. And I get to sit next to Denise again.
He's not allowed to sit next to me at JCRA for the record.
And as far as 1019, I want to thank Mopta for bringing this up. I want to thank everybody for bringing it up. I grew up in a community riddled with alcoholism, liquor stores on every corner. Fortunately, a lot of them have closed, but it's very important that not only the message is out there, but the outreach as well. So I vote aye on all.
Thank you, Councilperson Navarro.
Congratulations to all my colleagues and for your appointments, and looking forward to the work you're going to do there in your respective committees. Let's see. On 10.19, congratulations, Councilwoman Singh, on your successful resolution, and Rochelle, and for advocating and bringing it to the City Council, the Senate legislation. And then on 10.21, I'm going to be voting yes tonight. And I just want to say that supporting this application is the logical next procedural step. It corrects the co-grantee documentation gap that the county identified in the prior funding cycle, and it positions Jersey City as a municipal co-applicant. I also want to thank the residents of McGinley Square, the community board, for their sustained organizing around this property. The former St. Aidan's Migrant Center Community Garden previously served that neighborhood for more than 2 decades, and its preservation as public open space is needed in a part of Jersey City that has too little of it. I also want you to know that I've urged the administration in writing to consider the NJDEP pathway for this acquisition. I understand from communications with the administration that there are timing constraints, and I look forward to continuing the conversation with the administration, my council colleagues, and the community on the best path forward. I want to be clear on one point. My support tonight is not a commitment of city capital on my part. any future use of municipal funds, whether to bridge cash flow, to supplement a county award, or to close a gap between appraised value and the owner's asking price, should be evaluated separately on its own merits with a lens on our budget crisis and through the ordinary budget and legislative process. So I vote yes tonight, and thank you again to all the advocates. I vote yes on all.
Thank you, Council President Ridley.
I vote aye on all. Congratulations to my council colleagues on their appointments to the new boards. I'm looking forward to seeing all of the good work that they do on these boards. I'm happy to be getting some new energy on the Bayfront Advisory Board, and I'm somewhat happy to have Michael joining me on JCRA. But no, seriously, I'm happy to have Councilman Griffin join us at the JCRA. Aye for all.
Okay, items 10.15 through 10.26 are approved unanimously 9-0. On to our next. Thank you very much. On to our next set of resolutions, items 10.27 through 10.39. Councilperson Brooks.
Before I vote, I just want to say very proud of the work my predecessor, former Councilwoman Mira Prince Array, is doing at the EDC. So happy to support their work. And for the public who may not have watched the caucus, 10.33 through 10.35 is being paid out of 2025 reserves. And with that, I vote aye on all.
Councilperson Zupa.
Aye.
Councilperson Efros.
Aye on all.
Councilperson Little.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson Singh.
Aye on all.
Councilperson Griffin.
Aye.
Councilperson Lavarro.
On 10.33, 10.34, 10.35, just being consistent as I did with 10.9. These are claims, and as said, it's 2025 funds that are being used to pay for these, but they represent 2025 bills. And I've been consistent in voting against these, generally speaking. I think the last council meeting, I lost track of it and did not vote against them. But I vote no on 10.33, 34, and 35. And I vote, and let me just say on 10.38, it's a small thing, but I want to say to the Corporation Council as well as Council President, this idea for a closed session is a great idea to have it on a regular basis. It's the kind of thing that will allow us to be able to operate more effectively and smoothly, and being able to be apprised of legal matters on a timely basis. So thank you both for those doing that. And I vote aye on all the rest.
Council President Ridley.
Aye.
Okay, items 10.27 through 10.32 are approved unanimously 9-0. Item 10.33 is approved 8-1, with Councilperson Lavarro voting no. Item 10.34 is approved 8-1, Councilperson Lavarro voting no. And item 10.35 is approved 8-1, with Councilperson Lavarro voting no. And items 10.36 through 10.39 are approved unanimously 9-0. On to the balance of our resolutions, items 10.40 through 10.51. I believe the business administrator is going to address the council on item 10.45.
Right. So 1045, resolution 26-234. That is a resolution for a study of an area of need and development for Baldwin and Newark Ave. There's going to be some more communication to the community. Councilman Zupa wants to do more sort of due diligence in the community and speak to them directly. So we're going to withdraw that for this meeting, and then we will bring it back at the following meeting, assuming that the community outreach has been conducted and that the county agrees. And to our knowledge, the county is amenable to this. There should be no issues with it.
Thanks, Peter. Yeah, that's true, Sean. The county planned on meeting with the community after the study to present the results. Community prefers that they're involved before and upfront. So I appreciate the county's consideration, and they consented to my request to withdraw this from the agenda tonight.
All right, with that being said, items 10.40 through 10.51, with the exception of 10.45, which has been withdrawn. Councilperson Brooks.
Congratulations to all my colleagues in this round of resolutions, and I vote aye.
Councilperson Zupa.
Just want to touch briefly on the question of the fireworks. So my prior no vote was because we were informed as a council that the event was to honor the 250th anniversary of our country and our independence. And it was a private event. I voted no on that basis. Since then, we received information as a council that the event is honoring and for veterans who have served this country in our armed forces. So I will vote aye on that. I just want to mention to Danielle is here. I share your concerns about the environmental impacts of fireworks. However, the city having put on ostentatious firework displays in the last several years, I think it would be hypocritical for me to vote no on that basis. But we do need to look into having a consistent policy on fireworks, whether it be for private events at golf courses or for weddings at Liberty House or whatnot. So I do hear you and share that. So Sean, for my vote, I'll abstain on 1040. Appreciate the mayor's appointment to the Open Space Trust Fund board, and I'll vote aye on the rest.
Are you really abstaining?
I'm
We
showing
all
my
look like
colleagues
we're
the proper use of the abstention is when you potentially have a conflict, you abstain. When you want to vote or just don't want to vote, you have to vote yes or no. I abstain on 1040.
All right. Duly noted. Recorded. Councilperson Efros.
Yeah, on 1042, just want to clarify for the public. This is an amendment of the emergency temporary appropriation. There's obligatory pension spending that needed to be updated. And so it's a $99,000 increase from the emergency temporary appropriation from last time we voted on it. That's what's going on here. And then on 1051, my objection last time around the fireworks question was particularly around environmental and wildlife concerns. Appreciate folks in the audience raising those as well, because this is going to be located in the golf course as opposed to within park territory itself. And I believe it's a bit removed and it's gone through statewide safety checks is what I was told, and it's a half-hour demonstration of fireworks. I'll support at this time and just agree that having some standard policy for firework events in the city is helpful. So with that, congrats to folks getting appointed this round as well. I vote aye on all.
Councilperson Little.
I had not even been thinking about the council member appointment, so if possible, I would like to change my vote on 10.18 to an abstention.
I can't hear you. Say that again.
I had not even been thinking about the council member appointments for conflicts of interest, so I think I should abstain on 10.18 as well. Yeah, I guess you can't. So I don't know.
Corporate counsel, can we just clarify so that nobody is confused in regards to voting for themselves for boards?
Probably prudent to not vote for yourself. The vote has already happened. The vote would have been the same either way. We can correct the record in an abundance of caution. And in the future, I will pay extra attention to when someone is voting on themselves.
Thank you so much.
Well, I will say, as not being an attorney, we have always voted for ourselves for years, and, law is subjective sometimes and, up to the opinion of who is giving it, but we have always been instructed in the past that it was okay, but take the advice of our current corp counsel and do what you will with that information.
I was always under the assumption that they can vote for themselves too. It's very similar to like going into the voting machine. When you're running for election, you can vote for yourself then too. And you can nominate yourself.
Oh.
But I'm not an attorney, so I'm not going to go against my corporation counsel.
Right.
I will share that the ethics code is not a series of fact-specific rules. It is general guiding principles. And one of those guiding principles is that you should avoid not only conflicts of interest, but the appearance of conflicts or impropriety. And so if it is a risk assessment, which most ethics questions are, and an abundance of caution, you could always abstain where there is a matter that you have a personal relationship or impact or involvement in, which voting on yourself arguably does. So there's no harm in abstaining. Then in an abundance of caution, you could elect to do that. There's certainly no rule written anywhere that says that you must.
Thank you. In that case, then, Sean, if it's possible, I'd like to change my prior vote on 10.18 to an abstention. I'd also like to abstain on 10.41. I'm going to vote aye on 10.40 to 10.50. I'm excited for, for the continuation of the city bike, which I personally use frequently, and also that the city will be getting a better deal under this contract than we were under the previous contract. So I feel really positively about that. On 10.51, my environmental concerns were not addressed. And, I certainly want to support the veterans. We were assured at caucus that this event for the veterans it's a multi-day golf tournament. There's a formal dinner. There's a whole bunch of factors, and this event will proceed whether or not fireworks are included. And because the noise and the air pollution do not observe the boundaries of the golf course, I am going to vote no for the same reason I voted no the first time. Thank you.
Before you finalize your vote, Councilwoman, 10.20. I think pretty much everyone is on an SID except for
Exactly.
you. Yeah. So if you were going to abstain, you want to abstain on 10.20 as well, right? That's the SID appointment.
Say that again.
Never mind. Are we going to do that? Are we going to abstain now on 10.20?
If anyone's abstaining because because they're being nominated, 10.20 nominates at least.
So the reason I didn't abstain on that one, I'm joining the SID board in General Squares because I didn't think I can abstain on a line item of the resolution. But if I could, I would.
You cannot. What I would recommend to the council, if we want an authoritative answer to this question, because I cannot, as I sit here, tell you what a judge would say. I can only opine on how I interpret the ethical principles. There's an entity within the city, the Ethical Standards Board, that has the authority to render advisory opinions. So those are more than just musings. So if you would all like, in an abundance of caution, you could abstain today, and then we could seek formal written guidance from that entity, and then you will have your answer in writing moving forward.
I have a question on the Special Improvement District appointments. How many council members are being appointed?
7.
So if you abstain, it's not going to pass.
Correct.
6, I think.
6.
Again, will not pass.
Everyone
What if
except
those
me
of
and
us who are
Denise.
being appointed? No, actually, that doesn't work.
Everyone but me and Ridley are not.
Your lawyer says you should vote.
I join the SID.
That's
Jackson Hill.
fine.
You're on Jackson. Yes. Okay, I think Sarah says we should vote.
Perfectly fine.
Okay, so we won't abstain on that one, and then we will vote on the rest. Yes, Gilmore, you are on Jackson Hill.
All right, I'm voting.
I didn't get to you yet, Councilman, because I have to recap the vote for Councilperson Little on 1018. So item 1018 is now approved 801 with Councilperson Little abstaining. On item Councilperson Little, you're voting no on 1051 and abstaining on 1041 and aye on all the rest, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Now, Councilperson Gilmore.
I'm voting aye.
Councilperson Singh.
I'm so confused at this point. So I'll continue voting aye on my committee and everything. I'm voting for myself. Knowing me, I can vote 2 times for myself. And 51, I want to say that this is my personal opinion. I do care about animals a lot, and I do not want them to suffer because of someone's entertainment. But this event is a fundraiser for veterans, and I cannot even, you know, I cannot say no to that. So I'll vote aye. But I will think about, we should think about something for fireworks around the city, not just 1 or 2 events. If we can think about or come up with a solution throughout the city, I think I would absolutely be supportive. So thank you.
Councilperson Griffin,
Vote aye.
Councilperson Lavaro,
So on 10.16, where I was appointed, I want to vote for myself again. I'm joking. Come on. So on the list, I just want to also just, in all seriousness, 10.43, just want to reiterate what was said in the caucus, that this is not a, in any way, shape or form, speaks to the representation we're getting from Corporation Counsel, who was amazing and doing a great job, so thank you. And then thank the council president for bringing this forward. The opportunity for the city council to have its own legislative council. Certainly look forward to kind of continuing that exploration and being able to see if that's legal and possible, and then if it was, how we go about enacting that. On 10.44, I just want to congratulate Liberty Savings Federal Credit Union, which celebrated its 75th anniversary of providing financial services to working families here in Jersey City and in Hudson County, frankly. And then, let's see, and I vote aye on all the rest. For the ones with Mamta, no, just kidding.
Council President.
I know.
I vote aye on all, and thank you to council members for supporting 10.43.
Okay. If I dare to recap. Going once, going twice, no more changing your vote. All right. Item 10.40 is approved 801 with Councilperson Zupa abstaining. Item 10.41 is approved 801 with Councilperson Little abstaining. Item 10.42 through 44 are approved 9-0. Item 10.45 was withdrawn. Item 10.46 through 10.50 are approved unanimously 9-0. Item 10.51 is approved 8-1 with Councilperson Little voting no. With that being said, may I have a motion to adjourn at 9:55 PM? That was made by Councilperson Gilmore well in advance before I even said it. And may I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilperson Lavaro. All in favor of the motion to adjourn at 9:55 PM? All council members present by acclamation, please say aye.
Aye.
We are out of here at 9:55 PM. Thank you so much, everybody in attendance and everyone watching at home. Remember, teamwork makes the dream work. Have a great rest of the night. Stay safe.
Did I do something wrong? You can definitely vote for yourself. That's.
Carol? Fair. Fair. Like a fair. FBI.